Hello, Free Rotation Nation, and welcome to another episode. I'm joined by Chris.
Hello.
And also our legal advisor and the most beautiful woman in the world, Becky.
Oh my gosh, you're just so sweet. Oh, so sweet.
Valentine's is tomorrow, so.
Oh, yeah. You better remember.
And we have a special guest who I've talked up for weeks now, LyvPls.
Yay!
Hello. Yes, we are very, very excited. Liv is a Twitch streamer. You can find her on Twitch at LyvPls, LyvPls. And your community is known as the Cringers.
Yes. We recently changed to uwu beans, I think. So now they're cringing uwu beans. Well, I don't know.
I love it.
The whole thing.
I feel like that is a lot of people, though. So it really does fit the narrative. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
It is a wonderful community. It's a growing community. And I personally happen to love Liv streams. I found Liv, she was recommended by Twitch, and she was doing ASMR. I had never listened to ASMR, and I'd always been like, ASMR, ha ha ha, that's hilarious. And I had an eye-opening experience. I just kept putting like the, face in chat because I was like, that's amazing. So if you're ever curious about what ASMR is, please go check out Liv in one of her ASMR streams. But Liv, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, yes, me. Hello, everyone. My name is Liv. Oh, squeaky mic arm. We're here. So yes, everything that Angie said. Thank you for that lovely introduction, you beautiful gem. I am Liv. You can call me Liv or Livy or anything. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Exactly.
I have a Twitch channel. Yes. Sorry. Okay. Now I'm just repeating you. I'm really usually really good at introducing myself. I'm sorry. So I'm from Minnesota originally, and I moved out to California to do voice acting for video games and anime. I spent some time in LA being crazy and ended up starting a business in 2015, which moved me down to the San Diego area, or more southern SoCal. And since I no longer have that business, but since then I became a streamer, and like Angie said, it has been growing, so that's always good. You love to see it. My plans or goals for the future are to make a career out of that, and my platform is basically just I want to be a safe place for people to come and be themselves, because I'm all about living your best life. And I want to encourage others to do the same. Also, I do have podcasts as well. I am not certified to be giving advice, but that's what I do on them. I give advice, life advice and dating advice.
I feel like that's most people, though. Like, you go and listen to this podcast, they're like, if you just eat like bad pot stickers, you'll find love. And it's like, oh man, that guy knows what he's talking about. So I feel like he knows what he's talking about. So you got to appreciate like just what you know and helping others. I appreciate that.
Well, and that brings up a good point, Liv, is that you are a variety streamer. What is on Twitch is a variety.
Talking slow.
No, you were doing great.
I was gonna say I do ASMR as well, I do podcasts, and the Livs actually is a nickname that stands for Love Your Voice. It's my voiceover brand. So what I just wanted to iterate is that I want to, obviously, like I said, encourage people to live their best lives, and also to help people in their daily goings on with anxiety and things like that, which is another reason I do ASMR. So it's a relaxing space and a calming space. It's like a guided meditation at sometimes. So I know a lot of people don't feel their feelings, and that's what I'm all about: feelings and ooh and love.
I need to point out something that just happened on your camera. I know we've talked before about on your stream that I've seen stuff in your house move by itself. You literally just had a ghost orb all around you. Chris, did you see it?
I did.
Like, you legit had something looking over your shoulder.
I saw it.
I'm not recording video. Oh no.
It floated over to I guess your right shoulder, like where the unicorn is behind you, and then went off screen.
Yes, it hovered for a long time as you were talking about this. It was incredible. Like, we literally just saw I told you I've seen it before on your stream, and
So
I
I
don't
have
wanna
a heater
scare
right
you.
here. So I thought that's what you were talking about. Remember? Because you were telling me that when the Christmas tree was here, the Christmas bag was moving.
Yeah, the Christmas bag.
And I was like,
movie.
oh, there's just a heater right there blowing on.
No, you just had a
Wow.
ghost orb manifest directly
Should I say
over you.
hi? What do I
Oh, cool.
say?
I think I'm recording it.
Yeah,
I was about
it
to
was
say-
incredible.
I was about to say you also do horror podcasts and horror streams where you have like hauntings happening behind you. I did not realize this. I'm totally down.
Liv is
This
like,
is so my
no.
jam.
Although
Wow, how come no one's ever told? Well, you told me. So no, what am I saying?
I'm probably because we do a lot of paranormal episodes and do a lot of ghost hunting, more in tune with this type of thing. So we're always looking for that. And
That's
I did-
crazy because. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, talk.
I was going to say Mondo actually does too. He wanted to start a paranormal podcast.
Oh, it's so much fun.
He's never mentioned it though. I feel like he would because he can see ghost orbs too.
I've got we've got some pictures of ghost orbs, and I think I'm recording this, so I should be able to go back and look at it.
Okay, I screen
Maybe.
recorded it, and maybe
Yeah.
I can see it.
okay.
You just see this weird shadow figure standing behind you, but it's like the most like ooh,
No,
like
don't
kawaii,
say
like ghost
that.
figure. Like no. They're like, I'm here for the positivity, but it's a happy
Yeah.
ghost.
I just
It is.
no, it was it was very white light orb. I had the feeling that it was maybe someone close to you that looks out for you. I mean, that's
Yeah, I
Chris's
think.
wife is the medium. So, but
Oh,
I'm sorry to interrupt and say that.
no.
But-
I'm so happy to know that because well, I have a sister who passed away, so I was like pretty convinced that she's with me like literally all the time.
No, yeah, I
Oh.
believe she is.
So
And I think when
that
you were
would be
talking
lovely.
about helping people and helping them through anxiety is when it manifested. And I feel like that was just something they're like showing approval for that and how you, and I've been in your streams and I've seen that you reach out to people even when you're playing, Call of Duty Zombies. If someone has a problem, you'll drop that game and talk to them. Like you're a very compassionate person.
Yeah, I love people.
And speaking of
I also
Call
am
of
very
Duty-
introverted, so
What?
sometimes I'm
No
All of us.
way.
like, people get out of here.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But also, yeah, I do have a heart for people for sure, and that's why I want to keep doing what I'm doing so that I can have a platform that encourages people to do what they do best and find their purposes and motivations in life, because I think we're all happiest that way.
I gotta say, I do love that that's the acronym for your name. That just makes me so happy. It's so wholesome. It makes me happy. Like I didn't realize that. I had no idea. So that's really cool. I just wanted to tell you.
Yeah, I don't tell people much because it's just my name, but
Right.
but yeah, like love your voice because your voice matters. And I talk about it a lot on streams too, that your voice is really important. You can think something in your head, but it's very important what you're saying to yourself and what you're saying out loud and what you're letting other people say to you. Your opinions matter. Just because I spent a lot of my life kind of being oppressed. I've always been creative and wanting to be a content creator. I love singing, dancing, all of it, you name it, arts, whatever. I'm really into poetry, but my dad basically threatened to kick me out of the house once. I started a YouTube channel when I was younger, and my first video had like 63,000 views. I didn't know that was a lot at the time.
That's a
I was
lot.
young.
Wow. That's an incredible
It was just about being
amount.
Blasian. I was like, I'm Black and Asian. Woo, I'm Blasian. And it got 63,000 views because that was like new back then,
Yeah.
people sharing their being mixed and all that. I think I just dated myself, but you'd never know it. But yeah, so my dad was like, stop making those videos or I'll kick you out, even though he was showing them to like all my family members and they were all enjoying them. But I spent a lot of my life letting myself be influenced by what the people around me thought, which I know a lot of people do, but having someone there to remind you why you're important and why you have value is also important. Not just that you do, but why you do, and figuring out for yourself why you do, I think is really important.
You showed some of those original YouTube videos on your stream last week.
Oh yeah.
And that I thought they were wonderfully creative.
Thank you.
Especially the it creeps through the night. And I was like, what's happening?
I don't let go of the fear.
Yeah.
I know, I'm so artsy. I'm so artsy and humble.
Of course. You actually really are. So, I mean, so I assume that there's a lot of scheduling and preparation work that goes into each stream. So I think a lot of people think Twitch streamers who are career Twitch streamers just sit down and play games and that's it. But there's actually a lot of work that goes into this.
Yeah, definitely. I think I have a pull up right here. or here. Yeah, never mind what I'm saying. But so I do have I have a stream schedule, I have a personal schedule, and then I have like a social schedule.
Oh my God.
I'm very life path number 4 in the house. I'm the original to-do lister. I'm very detail oriented as well as routine oriented. But someone like me who's very just spontaneous and ADD, you would think I don't have routines, but somehow I just always do. But yes, when it comes to streams, it's like I'll be sitting down doing something half an hour before my stream, and I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta start my stream. And I will still start my stream 20 minutes late because I'm like, let me see, is the audio good? Because I have to switch audios constantly. I use a mixer and like screen records and all that stuff. So it's like, I do ASMR, which is very quiet. I do podcasts, which are very loud, and gaming, which is very loud. And then it's, making sure that your displays are right, your audio is right. And all of that, of course, a lot goes into that. Having a stream schedule is what makes streaming, I think, more hectic, which sounds kind of counterintuitive, but most people who don't have schedules are way more relaxed when it comes to streaming because they're like, oh, maybe I'll stream today, maybe I won't. Or hey, I feel like going live right now. For me, it's like, okay, I'm going live at this time. I have this many things to do. And then for me, who has specific content that I want to put out, I think about that as well. So yeah, there's definitely, there's a lot that I write down, but there's even more somehow that I forget about. And then right when I go live, or you'll see it. Like I said, like before we started, if you're not having technical difficulties, are you really putting out content?
Right.
Exactly.
Well, I gotta say, like, I have to commend you for having that, because for a lot, like, especially like, just for example, for us, it's me and Angie, like, we want to stream and we want to have time to stream, but it is intensive if you don't have some sort of setup or some sort of schedule for you to do it. Especially if you're trying to build up an audience or anything like that, you really do have to put a lot of work into it. So just the fact that you have to put so much work into it, I don't think a lot of people realize that from behind the scenes, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I try to kind of demystify Twitch a little bit sometimes when I'm like, this is what technical difficulties look like. This is what troubleshooting looks like. And I'll just stream all of it because I'm just like, we're people too. That was my big thing a lot when I first started streaming. I was like, hey guys, I know I'm like on your screen and some people you have like me on your TV or whatever, but I'm still a real human. So
Right.
Check it out. Feelings and emotions over here.
Well, it's very intensive. Yeah. Just just for example, we have a D&D setup that we have to do. And I swear to God, if we're not messing something up when we're about to stream, it's not a good day.
No, when she says if we're not messing something up, she really means if Angie's not messing something up. Because let's be honest,
she's
I'm
there
the one
to
who
troubleshoot.
accidentally does it. Yes. Yes.
But seriously, I don't think people really, and I think I appreciate that about you, is that you're not trying to make it like, this is like a super smooth transition in which we have to do things. It's like, we are real people, and sometimes the computer's just going to shut up and not work. It's just how it is.
That is how it is. Yes. And then you come back and you're like, hi.
I have
This is
internet
fine.
issues. Yeah. The basic thing of having just the internet work is sometimes the thing that really gets to me. Is it's like, I really do want to stream what's happening, but apparently Comcast has decided that the squirrel is not working today, and you're going to get about the Wi-Fi signal of AOL right now.
One of the hamsters is on a break.
Exactly.
Well, like Becky can't stream and play Valorant at the same time because one of them's going to go down, and Chris has trouble with the same thing, streaming and playing Valorant.
I think a lot of my problem is, and people don't realize it, like my computer's hooked up to the Wi-Fi, so I can stream like Magic: The Gathering because it has a low, basically frame refresh rate. But Valorant and Call of Duty are so high that it just lags out. Like I just get, congratulations, you were 6 frames per second.
Yeah,
We're not watching
his ping
anymore.
goes up to 2,000.
And I'm
We're
like,
like, well,
cool.
there goes our
Are
raise.
you enjoying the slideshow right now?
Yeah, I was gonna say I had some. I think it was an ASMR. Something had goofed up, the internet goofed up or something, and everything went back to normal. And one of the chatters said, "All right, I'm gonna let you finish, but LyvPls had the best slideshow of all time." I was like, "Stop! No, it's real." But
At least you're here for it.
Yeah, thank goodness,
Yeah.
right? Thank goodness for good people and good viewers.
Well, and talking
friends.
about things that can go wrong, one of your big content creations was Twitch Sings. And when Twitch Sings went away, how did that affect your channel? As far as, did you have to think of new content to put out?
When Twitch Sings went away, I was not planning to do any kind of karaoke stuff. I had already started moving into podcasts just because I said to myself, it's about time that we start, that I start sharing with people more of who I am and sharing my opinions and my ideas, since I talk about how important they are. I did do Twitch Sings quite a bit for several hours a day, but that was kind of like my mess around time, if you will. That was like my relaxing time. Yeah. And I can barely hold a tune. People will not agree with me, but I can barely. I know that. But again, I'm proud of myself for putting myself out there, for trying. And I do like my singing voice, especially when I do sing in key. I'm like, ooh, nice one. But the thing is, I was more curious what everyone else was going to be doing after Twitch Sings, because I had already started moving into podcasts, and my original stream was about gaming anyway. So I went back to gaming. I put a lot of focus into podcasts. Right now I'm putting more focus into my YouTube to bring people into my Twitch. So I've been kept really busy with all of the content that I already had. And I did add an extra day of ASMR, which I had a day off, so it didn't matter anyway. But on that day off, I ended up adding an extra day of ASMR. I don't know if that was because Twitch Sings ended, but I think it was more, I was just getting back into ASMR and I really love it. So
I think the whole Twitch Sings, yeah, I'm one of those people who I know I can't hold a tune. And I was so jealous watching people who could do it, because, or even have the like confidence to do it, because I know I would do it and then just be like, I hate myself and I'm going to delete this channel and delete the internet if I can help it. Like, I just can't. So, you know, I would hear Angie do it, or I would see Angie doing it. And I was like, God, I just wish, I think it was such a great idea for people who just wanted to be creative in that space. And I hate that it's gone. Like it was such a great,
so many people together.
It did. And it was just nice because you could see this big streamer singing with this little streamer, or you could see like two people doing duets that you wouldn't expect to do duets, or just the funniest content. And it was so sad to see it go away. I couldn't believe that they decided that they weren't going to stick with it.
We had gotten in when they were giving it out at first. Becky had gotten us. We were one of the first ones to get Twitch Sings, but I was always too nervous to do it. So I waited until like a month before it went away. And then I waited till like 2 a.m. when everybody had gone to bed, and I would be super quiet and I would sing like this.
I heard you sing. I sang with
I know,
you, and I was like, oh, "It's beautiful.
Yeah, you were
An angel
amazing.
Has blessing me."
You were amazing.
I've also come to realize that we are the people who are going to be on the tail end of a trend, if it can be. Like, oh man, guys, I heard about this new thing called TikTok. Would you guys like to join me in making the TikToks? I just learned about Vine, but apparently that's gone. So
that's big. Oh, Becky. Oh no.
But like,
that's how we're gonna be.
But like, just the fact that it took her so long to do it, I was so sad, because Angie, okay, get her little alcohol in her. She will be at the bar singing alone and belting it out. Or what was it? Chandelier? She'll sing Chandelier really good. But I wish she would be more out there. And she's so scared to stream. It just makes me sad, because she's so incredibly toxic and creative at the same time. Like, it's just, it makes for great content.
You love to hear it. Actually, that's one of my strong suits as a human. Here's me being humble. So I'm really good. I'm really good at getting people out of their shells. Obviously it's more one-on-one time, and I think Angie knows about some of my ooh boys. I shouldn't be saying that out loud, but I just I have this way with people, especially one-on-one, where it's just like I like my whole purpose in life before I wanted to become a voice actor, before Liv ever came about, was to make people feel. I was in theater growing up and I loved acting, and all I ever wanted to do is make people feel something. And people have this way of blossoming as when you give them the right space. And it's probably one of the most beautiful things you can witness. I know it sounds really silly that I'm saying whatever I'm saying, but I have an ability to connect with people and to relate with people wherever they're at and help take them somewhere. And that's what I want to be able to give on a bigger platform, to the world and all that good stuff. So I would love to, I don't know, maybe talk with Angie or spend some time with you, just going over things like that. Cause it's really, I mean, we all have a way of standing in our own way. And I think it's really important to recognize when we're doing that, because we can all be better. We can all be so much better and do more. And we don't have to, of course, but it is rewarding in a way to share your talents and your beauty with the world.
In your heart. Like Chris is a very compassionate, empathetic person. And even when he's just talking to friends,
he'll shaking his head.
He really is. He always
though.
says before he leaves, love y'all. And I do mean it. And he always says that. And that's a very difficult phrase for me to say. And I may never respond to it because that's exactly the opposite of me. But that doesn't mean I don't feel it. I just don't have it in me to say it. But Chris and I are very, very opposite. And we do share a love of animals. I'll tell your dog and your cat, I'll love them to pieces within 2 seconds of meeting them and mean every word.
So I look at it a little different. Like, I tend to be of the mindset that like, we're not going to be here forever. And there's so much negative and hatred and just stupid bullshit in the world. I just try not to take part in any of that. And I love everybody, like you, me, my wife, the people I dislike. I still love them. I just don't want them in my life. And like, I just wish there was more of that. I wish there was more people that were just, you know what? I love you. Stay away from me. I hope everything good in the world happens for you. I just don't want to be a part of it. And that's fine. Like, I learned a long time ago that holding on to negative feelings and emotions, it just hurts you. It doesn't hurt anybody else. It just makes your life worse. So I just let it all go. Like, if I tell everybody, you can forgive but not forget. Like, if somebody does something wrong to you, you don't have to be a part of that person's life.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
you can not harbor hatred because it just makes everything worse for you. Like, personally, it makes your life worse.
It's true. I mean, I think you learn that as you get older, though. Like, once you've experienced either heartbreak or betrayal or anything to that extent, I think once you've experienced it once, you're like, I could live a bitter life, or I could just like live my own life and just be happy for what I am. Like, I always said my favorite song is Modest Mouths Float On. It's just because like that's a great way of thinking about it. You just float on. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. I tell people that a lot too. It's just like, when something terrible happens to you or just something really crappy, the thing you have to remember is that it is temporary. And sometimes it's time that takes it away. Sometimes you can actively, get rid of emotions like that. And, like Chris said, there's literally, I always used to tell myself this when I was younger, it's no point in staying mad. The other thing that people don't realize too, is that there is a chain reaction, like when you're mean to a cashier at a store, that person takes that with them and is like, oh, what a jerk. And then they go home to their wife and kids or whatever. And is like, whatever, blah, blah. And then that puts their wife and kids in a bad mood. It's like that can cause, you don't know how you're affecting someone when you're being, especially strangers or even people close to you. But it's like when you're harboring negativity, it's going to also come out of you. It can't stay inside you. Nope. And that's going to affect the people around you as well.
It's also, go ahead.
Oh, what I was going to say is like, even if somebody's like super short or having a bad day or is just being a dick in public, like I automatically forgive them and say, you know what? I don't know what's going on in their life. Maybe something awful's happening. Maybe their life is just really bad and they can't see a way out of it. I don't have to be mean back and make it a little bit worse.
Right.
Maybe I can be decent to them and maybe they'll be a little bit better.
Well, I was about to say, and a lot of people tend to remember the negativity more so than the positivity. So if your constant is to put out negativity or put that into somebody who maybe already having a bad day or be struggling, that's what they're going to remember versus maybe a positive comment like, hey, I hope you're just having a great day. Like, hope everything's going well. Or just asking how they're doing. Sometimes that's just enough to make somebody feel a little bit better. Yes.
And listening when they answer, that's huge.
Yes.
I remember reading somewhere once that it takes oh, sorry, I don't know how to when I'm phrasing this, but basically it takes 12 positive comments to like negate one negative comment.
Basically. Oh, yeah.
That sounds right.
That does sound right.
Because people do. And I don't know, I think it's for me, I don't consider myself decent by any means, indecent to the end. So like when people are being rude, sometimes I will just, I will let them know as politely as I can. hey, you're being kind of a jerk. What's
Yeah.
wrong? And they'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't know I was being a jerk. But there's a tactic that everyone should use. It's called build, break, build, or they call it a compliment
That
sandwich.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
you compliment someone and like, oh, hey, whatever. You can compliment people on so many things. There's so many beautiful things about people. So you give them a compliment and then you say like, hey, I noticed this isn't quite right. What's up? And then it's like, but also you're still rocking or whatever. So it's like there are ways to go about letting people know that they're being jerks without being too much of a jerk.
And the other thing that I've found out that helps a lot, and I learned it in basically I take a lot of classes on how to speak properly and how to phrase things.
Oh.
And what's really cool is instead of if I come to you and I say, hey, Liv's having a bad day, and I go up to you and I say, hey, you're kind of being mean right now, stop it. Instead of doing that, I can come to you and say, hey, it seems like you're having a bad day. How can we fix that? And then it's more of it's offering a way to get to a solution rather than continuing with your bad day and saying you're being a jerk because of it. It just it's that positive, even when there's negative involved. You bring attention to what's going on, but then you learn to bridge that gap to a solution.
You don't use you. You don't use
how do we
doing this.
How do we fix
like
this?
use we, and you use also like how you said it seems.
Yeah.
You don't just go up to someone and be like, oh, you must be having a bad day. Like, no, seems like something's off. What's up? Totally.
How can I help?
That.
I can tell you that this is very much helping me because I have to have the complete opposite attitude in my job where I have to basically interrogate people for a living. And I'm like, you seem like something's wrong with you. What is wrong? And that sometimes that comes off really bad, I guess. Angie will say it too sometimes when we're having a conversation. She's just like, you seem like you're becoming a litigator right now instead of just having a conversation. I'm like, I can't turn it off sometimes.
Yeah, Becky will come sit
I
down
can
beside
see
me
that.
and be like, okay, why are you upset? Tell me. And I'm like, whoa, okay, first of all, I don't want to tell you anything right now.
Sorry, did not mean to do that.
It seems crazy, but I watch a lot of like CIA interrogations, and the ones that are really good at their job are the ones that come at it from a I want to help you standpoint rather than the guys that are super hard-nosed and
absolutely.
Like, you're going to tell me the answer. And that will never work. They'll just bite down harder because people really hate being told what to do. But if you ask them how to help them, they'll help you. It's really weird. It's a really weird mind game.
It's all that.
I like the one.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I like the concept of, I don't know, maybe you've seen the show Lucifer.
Yeah.
But I like the concept that it's like, what do you want? And that's because that's how I am with people. I'm just like, what do you want? When people come at me like hella sideways. Sorry, I'm just slang's coming out.
No, you're fine.
People just kind of rub me the wrong way, and I'm just like, what do you need? Like, how can I help you with whatever problem you're having? Because when someone does that and they're just in your face and you're looking at them like, yes, hello, can I help you with something? Because most people would just be like, like, why are you being so rude? Get out of here. But I'm just like, what is it you need? Like, what do you want? What do you want from this interaction? Yes. What is it you truly desire? Exactly. And that's how I feel. That's how I feel when I talk to people. Like, why is this person, because I ask myself these questions, why is this person talking to me with this tone, with these words at this time of day? Like, I think about all that stuff, and it's crazy to me that I think about it a lot, but I do when I interact with people. I'm just like, okay, this person just got done streaming and maybe they're a little stressed out. I should ask them what it is they need from me. And some people will actually realize, I don't want anything from you. I'm sorry, I was just being rude. I'm like, okay, cool.
Okay,
cool,
at least
cool.
you're honest about it.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. It's just that whether it's blunt or not, just that open honesty. And that's, again, like the connector in me is like, I'm really able to get to that place with people just because sometimes all it takes is patience or the right phrasing, like Chris said.
Yeah, a lot of people just they want to be heard. Like, whatever their issue is, they want somebody to actually listen and not just wait to tell. A lot of people like to play that one-up game where like, my problems are worse than your problems, whatever they are. And no one wants that in their life. Like, they just want someone to hear them and at least empathize, if not help, at least understand that, hey, this is going on and it's super rough right now. Maybe be a little bit more patient with me. Like, and that's it. And it's super cool.
I was about to say, that's probably why, like, just the way you do your streams, Liv, is probably such a big impact because you are the focal point. of somebody who may say in chat, hey, I'm having a horrible day. I just don't know what to do with myself. And you focusing on them just for that little bit of time probably makes such a difference. And I've noticed that just talking to people, if you can have a one-on-one conversation, and I think a lot of people who come out and talk in chat and say that they're having a bad day just don't have people to talk to sometimes. Like,
Definitely.
I think that having that focal point for you to talk to them is especially as a third party, most likely. I think that makes such a huge difference for people. And so it's a positive impact that I think your streaming does for people. I know a lot of people have negative aspects of streaming, but to me, that's a huge positivity. I think that, especially for your community that you bring.
There is a balance there as well, because you don't want everybody just being like, oh, I'm having a horrible day. Rah!
Right.
Because that's eventually that would affect me. But also there's not to brag, no, I'm just kidding. But like there are hundreds of people stopping in, reading these chats. You
Right.
never know who's reading your chat, even if they don't stop and stay. It's not like I have hundreds of viewers, but I do have, upwards of like 600 live views of my channel a day. So if you're looking at that alone, those are people who've come in, probably seen the chat, maybe didn't like what they saw and left or something.
Right.
So if you're constantly having people coming in like, oh, I'm having a crappy day, this happened to me. When someone says they've had a bad day, I give them a hug through the camera by petting them or giving them a very soft-spoken affirmation, and then I will say, DM me, let me know what's going on in my DMs. And that's the biggest thing, is keeping your stream a positive place where people do feel they can talk to you about their problems without feeling like it's bringing the mood down. Because people will come in and be like, oh, I don't want to kill the vibes, but I'm just like, we're always vibing. Have you not been to my stream? Like, there's just this nonstop hype all the time, even when I'm not trying. Like, so it's no one's gonna. It takes a lot. I said to someone the other day too, like, I don't accept insults. Like, they're trying to insult me and they're playing a game with me, and I was just like, I don't accept insults. So I mean, you're kind of wasting your breath, but
don't accept your gift
it's
of an
the same
insult.
way in
Gotta
the stream
that.
where it's like I don't accept negativity unless I want to, or if I'm really trying to come to your level. So it's like when people are like, oh, I don't want to bring the vibes down, I'm like, we're vibing. If you want to vibe with us, you can. Sometimes all it takes too is them typing it out in a DM to like let you know what's going on, and then they'll come back to the stream and be like, okay, I sent you a DM, thank you so much, blah blah, and then they'll just sit and chill, and
Right.
now that they have something off their chest and a positive place to be, there's more of a
Bringing
flow.
some good karma and good juju into your stream.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it works that way. I could be just making all of this up. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point.
So with your streams, do you plan on doing like any IRL stuff? Are you trying to build like an IRL pack or?
I have never been an IRL streamer, and I don't know. I think IRL is such an interesting topic. During COVID, there are actually a lot of people who are still doing IRL streams, even at the start and throughout all of COVID, which to me seems, a little counterintuitive. But I think as far as IRL streams go, I have my other platforms of content for that. Like I actually just recently started a VIP chat in my Discord. So I'll be posting IRL stuff there from Snapchat, which sounds
that's cool.
I'm using 6 different platforms
Yeah.
to do one thing. But anything IRL, I post all my baking and TikTok style videos on Snapchat because I don't use TikTok. And then any IRL content right for the time being is going to be exclusive for my subs and VIPs in Discord.
Okay.
That'll be cool.
That's actually a really great idea.
That's actually really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Liv, I have a question. Where did you get the inspiration for the ASMR? Because like the way you make the slime and use it, and it sounds like an underwater ship and the raindrops. I have to close my eyes because just to watch you make the sounds you make just doesn't make sense. But it's so wild. So where do you get the inspiration for that?
I can do it. Wait, I can do it with my head. Wait. Oh, it's not working.
I know.
It really does.
Hang on.
It's because I have chapstick on. There he goes. I did it.
There you go. I can make this noise. It sounds like a pig.
I
grew up with piggies.
I can do the that's about
oh wow!
it. I got
Becky,
the serial
that's amazing.
Serial killer ASMR will take off one day, guys.
I can do the boots and cats. Boots and cats and boots and cats. Boots and cats.
Here we go.
It makes me tingle when I hear that. I don't know.
We do that.
Boots
Feel
and
weird.
cats.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
like the weird bee noises makes me. I don't know. I don't know.
Whenever-
It's weird.
Whenever we start doing our podcast, I always do the.
I think that's what it is. I think I've been behaviorally reinforced to listen to Bobby and Chris make weird noises into the microphone.
They'll
And
rub
it's
their
like,
beards on it.
yeah,
It's
and
just
it just
weird
makes me
sounding.
really uncomfortable at that point.
I have been conditioned to the club sound by my most recent ex. It was always what?
Yeah.
Please stop.
I know.
Now I
it's
do it
just-
all the time.
You just can't.
Oh,
Once
man.
you start hearing it, it's just like you just can't stop. You're just like, I can't do it very well because I have no talent. But
You are the talent. Remember that, Becky. You
That's
are the
right.
talent.
I just
Dang
regurg.
nabbit.
All I do is make regurgitation noises. That's really what my talent is.
Wow. Like, is that
That's-
a cat
hey,
vomiting? No, it's
talent's
Becky.
talent.
No, it's just me. I sound like the Exorcist girl. I'm so talented.
I have a way of sounding like a dying cow when I sing. So yeah.
Oh,
That is
no.
just
we would
not
make
true.
quite the band.
We're like truly a death metal band, but
We
it's
call
just the
ourselves
sounds
cat
of people
vomit.
dying. It's like all these noises. Oh
Isn't
my
that all
God.
death metal is
It's
anyway?
true,
Why else is it called
true.
death metal?
They make lyrical noises at each other. Oh my God. Every time I hear death metal, I'm like, I'm so confused by your existence.
Megadeth.
Yeah.
Chris's face.
Okay.
Like, no.
Speaking
my-
of ASMR,
Like one of my friends makes really dark metal, so I have to be like, boo.
Oof. Yeah, that's the thing too, is music that you listen to is really huge. I actually don't talk about it enough anymore, but what you're listening to every day is also affecting you. And I think people don't really like R.I.P. Juice World. He made amazing music. In my personal opinion, I think it was like fun and cool and vibey in a way. It has its moments, but it was all very, very sad. And he says in one of his songs, like, I'm addicted to making this depressing music. But it's just like that. Oof, that can do something for you. So I think for ASMR, it's really important for me to make sure that I'm coming into it. I always try to start with a relaxing intention and a mind of gratitude. My inspiration for ASMR for doing ASMR on stream was slime. I was a pastry chef for a few years. I went to culinary school for college. So I loved doing, I was that kid that played in the dirt. I love doing things with my hands, very kinesthetic. And I liked rolling dough, and I learned how to make slime randomly because I was like, oh, I like this sound. It's like squish, squish, squish. I like when you poke the slime, So the thing is, I'm very kinesthetic, but I've always been very interested in auditory things. So when I started doing ASMR for streams was because of slime. But like I said, I always wanted to be a voiceover actress because I love to make people feel things. And I couldn't do that on screen because my hair is rainbow right now. Like I'm not going to let some company tell me, hey, keep your hair short and brown. Nah, peace. So I was just like, I'll be a voiceover actress. I can do whatever I want with my looks and still have that creativity to inspire people to feel things. So learning to make sounds with my mouth and things like that was part of that. And then foliage, if you know the term, is something that they do in movies. Like when you hear rain in movies, it's usually
Not rain,
somebody
yeah.
like tapping
Yeah.
on something. So I've always been, just from a young age, I've always been really interested in that. I'm like, how can I like this? Or how does this sound? Or like, what happens if I do this? And it's just like usually I will take chat to tell me like, oh, hey, that sounds like raindrops, or that sounds like the ocean. And I'm just like, oh yeah, it does, huh? But I was just enjoying the sound. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
It's wild what it sounds like.
Yeah, I started with my very first ASMR stream. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. It was a slime stream. It was a mess. Mukbang. I watched a lot of mukbang. I don't do mukbang, but I have a thing for mukbang. Maybe edit that out. No, I'm just kidding. Not a
there's a lot of people who like mukbang though, so it's not that weird. Like you hear a lot of
What is
good
mukbang?
crunch. Watching people eat.
Yeah, it's just people
Oh.
eating and talking. I think
Nope.
okay.
I like no talking.
You don't like the talk. There's some people who like the talking, but I think that circumstance is where people are like, I feel like I'm in a social interaction right now. Like somebody is talking. Yeah, Angie's
Nope,
like
nope,
completely out of this.
Yeah, that's out.
Angie doesn't like anything that sounds like could be eating or somebody's mouth moving with things.
Yeah, that's
outside of
actually
it.
there's a name for that condition. It's called like miniphobia or something. Like you can't stand chewing sounds and things.
Oh
like
yeah.
Murder.
Yeah.
It's called a murder.
It's called yes.
It's
And-
called
and-
murder. It's called chew with your mouth closed. Dang it.
Becky
We
is notorious for like talking with her mouth open and
don't
food
do
everywhere.
it. And I only do it with you.
And or she'll hold like the food against her teeth and be like, "Hur, hur, hur, hur." I'm like, no, you can't do this.
She's just
I
really
was-
comfortable with you.
I know.
Take it as a compliment.
Yesterday I was eating jalapeno chips and she's like, please stop crunching into the microphone. I'm like, but they're delicious.
No, that's not what I said. I said, I can tell you're talking with your mouth full because she was like, they're at B-side.
I do that to people. I don't mind the sound, but it's like, I don't know if anybody else does. So if I'm playing with somebody who's eating on stream, I was like, hey, what you eating? And they're just like, oh, shoot. And I'm just like, no, you're fine. Well, like, because I am genuinely curious. I love food. So I'm like, what you eat?
I don't mind the
And then we talk about
Tell me a little bit more.
It's the wet sounds that get me. When you know there's a lot of spit involved and whatever they're masticating, I can't stand it.
You used the word masticating. That makes it so much worse.
Exactly.
This woman writes bad fan fiction and uses words like turgid. Okay, so
it was a Christmas present for
Such a
some of
good
our
word.
friends, and it was called Plunging the Dungeon, and it was about the three dudes. And so I used like turgid and tumescent because I didn't actually want it to be sexy. I want it to be horrifying in a sexy way. But yeah.
I'm interested. Say less.
No,
Send that book
don't
over
be,
right
don't
now.
be.
I'll absolutely
Don't
be. Now, when I gave it to the three of them, the reactions were varied. One was like, I will never read this, but thank you. The second was like, this is horrifying. And the third was like, this is quite interesting. I'm going to read this
It's like,
later
this is
by
very
myself.
well written right now.
That's me. I would have been like, this is something you gave me. Hello. Oh, I want to read it.
You know what? I will actually send that over to you. I still have it on the computer.
Oh my God.
Chris's face. I can't.
Chris knows the guys that it's
Legend
written
of them.
about. And if you could see the three guys, it's three former podcast hosts. So the fact that it was just like the three of them, like just very, never mind. I'm not going to talk about it. It's giving me like,
Yeah, no
thinking about it.
spoilers.
Yeah. Never mind.
Becky, no spoilers.
It's already spoiled.
It's rotten.
In the worst way.
So I will tell you, I don't listen to a lot of like traditional ASMR, like the soap cutting and that kind of. It's just not my jam. But what I do enjoy is, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they do like antique restoration videos on like YouTube, where they'll take like antique tools and stuff and restore them. But there's no talking. It's just the sounds of them like sanding and sandblasting and polishing. And I don't know why, but it's so relaxing. And it just.
Chris likes the sounds of Home Depot is basically.
Oh
what
my
it
God.
is.
It's just.
Yes.
I don't
Without
know.
the cashiers.
It's just puts me right to sleep, and it's perfect. And it's just like, there's no talking, and it's just the most soothing, sanding, relaxing. I don't know. It's insane, but it's just, it's
I'm
my
glad you brought this up,
comfort.
because like that's one thing I wanted to point out is that ASMR is not just people eating. It's not just slime.
Yeah.
It's not just mouth things. And a lot of it gets such a bad, like has such a bad stigma for being gross or sexual. And I mean, I'm a sensual person. I will admit that. Like I said, indecent to the end. So I think my ASMR comes off a little sensually sometimes. I mean, I have a set of ears that I'm literally giving kisses to because I like the sound of kisses. I hear everything I do. So it's like, if I like a sound, I'll keep doing it. But the thing is, there are a lot of different things that can be ASMR for people. I used to go to a stream that was just Valorant, the game Valorant, and music. And the audio was just so perfect in it. And that was what would relax me, because the person didn't talk or have a cam. And I love Valorant. So I'd watch the game and listen to the sounds, the sound of the gun click, the footsteps, the quips were just quiet enough that it was like, it was perfectly done. And I was just like that for me was my ASMR. It was just like, your meridian response to what you're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try to tell people, like, now I don't care, because ASMR does bring a lot of trolls to the channel, and they'll be like, start yelling, do a backflip. Ew, this is gross, or whatever. You're a bunch of perverts. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so like
that's
now I'm
true.
just like,
however,
yes, that is very true.
This isn't why.
But I always say I do ASMR. Say what you will, like, but I just don't care. Oh, something I wanted to bring up really quickly too is this is, sorry, do you mind if I backtrack for just a second?
no,
No,
absolutely.
So Chris had brought up something about people wanting to be able to tell you something without you just waiting to tell them something back and actually listen. And I kind of adopted something from, I think, a homeless man that I met. Full disclosure, I was also homeless, but I lived in my car, and I was at the gym, and I met this person at the gym, and he was saying a bunch of really sad stuff. And before I could respond, he held his finger up and he said, "Don't commiserate." He's like, "This terrible, terrible, terrible thing happened to me. Don't commiserate." And then like just continued. And it was just, that struck me in my soul.
Mm.
I was
Okay.
just like,
Wow. That
the
is
one up,
powerful,
like the
actually.
one up thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
people don't want you to one up them. They're just telling you their story, or they just want you
Preach
to listen.
it.
Mhm.
Oh my God. Sometimes people just want to tell you how bad things are. They don't need you to say, but you know what? I had a bad time too. It's like, I understand that. But right now I'm in
We're
this
not
place.
talking about you. I know that
Yeah.
sounds insensitive, but I'm like, this isn't about you. You asked me about me, so
Absolutely.
let me tell you about me. Yeah. So sorry, I just wanted to bring that up, that you do not have to commiserate with people. Sometimes you can just listen. And if you have a story that's like, hey, but this happened to me, but I'm better now, that's fine. But there's a time for that. Because if it's fresh for somebody, they don't want to hear, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah,
They just
or-
want,
Right.
they want like, a shoulder or just an ear.
And it's the way you come at them. Sometimes you just say, listen, I know what that feels like. So if you need to talk to me, just talk to me. Like, I know you're in a bad spot right now. So I'm here for you if you need somebody who understands it. That's how you should come at it sometimes, instead of it being like, well, I had it worse one time too, blah, 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 blah. It's just,
Or people will say something completely irrelevant when you're like, oh, my cat died today, like I'm very sad. I'm like, oh, well, I got a flat tire one time, so I totally feel, I got a car accident this one time, and I'm like, but it's not even, I
was
can't.
your cat there? I don't get your
Right.
relevance.
Yeah.
Irrelevant. So yeah, it's just
Yeah.
This is something to be aware of that I wanted to bring up. I don't even know why. I wanted to share it with you. more
No,
like this.
absolutely. Me and Angie have talked about this before, like not between the two of us, but some of the people we are close to, they just want to one up instead of just talking. And it's just so frustrating, because it's like, I just want to have a conversation with you and talk about some of the things I'm going through. Not, I hate to sound selfish, but sometimes I need to talk. I need to just talk about it. I just need to talk about it.
I always verbally reward good listeners when I notice someone's been really listening and not just one-upping or anything. I do that publicly too, so other people can see like, oh, people like that. Maybe I should try that.
Yes.
Just listening.
Positive reinforcement makes such a difference.
Yeah. I'm loving the love here, y'all. Thanks for having me. I know it's not over yet.
No, this is great.
Thank you so much for having
No.
me.
We appreciate it. We love good vibes. That's my favorite.
Yee.
Good vibes.
Also same. Oh my
Well,
gosh, twinning.
Another fringe community that you're a part of is the VR chat community. And I was introduced about, I guess, a year and a half, 2 years ago. I had one of my best friends. She started doing VR chat, and she's a recluse. She doesn't ever leave her room. She's very agoraphobic. And VR chat just opened up the world for her. Literally, she could go anywhere and do anything. And I noticed that you also are part of the VR chat community. And could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So VR chat, loads of fun. VR in general is very cool, but VR chat brings a whole nother level to social interaction. I will say this just off the bat. There is an etiquette in VR chat, and new users are usually not aware of it. So they get a really bad rap. Like if you have a label over your head, it tells people how long you've been playing the game. And if you have new users, some people won't even talk to you. Or if you have numbers behind your name, it means you don't have an actual VR chat account. It means you have a Steam account. People won't talk to you because those people don't have etiquette. And it's like VR chat is like being in the same room as someone. There's proximity chat. So when you're real, like right next to somebody, you're right next to somebody. And some people have phantom sense. So there's people who cannot be too close to people because they'll feel like people are like actually like poking them in the face or something. And that's a thing, booping, like boop, boop. People do that all the time. And if you tell someone you have phantom sense, they don't stop. I don't know why people love teasing in that way, but yeah, when someone's like, it happens with ASMR too. People be like, I just felt you touch my forehead. And I'm like, yeah, got you, so it's something, there's a lot to be aware of when it comes to VR chat, but also there's just so much fun to be had. You can, you make it, VR chat is literally what you make it. You can choose an avatar that looks like you, or you can choose to be a little ball of fur. you can choose to be a caution cone, walk around and tell people Baba Booey. You can do whatever you want in there. And it's like, there's this anonymity, but there's also this closeness that you get with people that you don't get with someone else. Like I watch movies in there with my Uwu boys, and it's like
Uwu
it's like being
boys.
on an actual date, and it's wild because it's like it feels like sitting right next to somebody watching a movie. And I'm actually gonna do. Oh, spoiler! I'm going to do
Come here.
a VR chat interview in VR for one of the
that's
Taco
cool.
Tuesdays.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so really excited for that. But I guess I don't have a ton to say on it. VR chat is my drunken game, and I still think of it more as a game because I'm just always yelling and hyper anyway. But in VR chat, it's worse. I'm like, y'all, I'll like walk around and be like, I'm not even wearing pants right now. This is great. And I'm pretty, one of my favorite songs of all time by Incubus is called Agoraphobia. I have very agoraphobic tendencies. I have not left my house in over a year, and I don't even feel some type of way about it. I'm just like, oh, I'm living my life.
Well,
this
is the best time right now, especially with what's going on in the world. Like, if you got that vibe in you already, it's like, hey, man, this is the best. Like,
yeah. When COVID started, my life didn't change.
Yeah,
like, I'm just in my house streaming. Except now I don't go to the grocery store.
I have to go out. Like, I go crazy if I have to be stuck in one place. Like, I have to move. I have to be doing something, or I lose my mind.
Yeah, I'm entertained staring at a wall. I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, me too.
I'll just be like, this wall used to be more white before probably. And then I'll be like, this design's kind of weird. I'll sit there for like 5 minutes staring at a wall, being like, good talk, wall. And then I'll go read a book. I don't know. I really have, my dad used to tell me too, he's like, if you're ever bored, like, I forget how he said it, but he said it in a way that was, so my dad is military man and everything he says is rude, which is why I'm pretty sassy. But the way he said it was just so mean. Like, if you're a person who gets bored, I don't want to hang out with you. Like, I don't want to be around you because it means that you're spoiled. I think that's what he said. If you get bored, you're spoiled because you don't do enough for yourself. You don't do enough to think. Sorry, this is not meant to be a dig at anybody.
No, you're cool.
I'm just repeating what my dad said.
No,
which is obviously why I'm such a peach.
Yeah, no, I get it. My dad was military. He was a drill instructor in the Marine Corps. So
yeah, my dad was in the Marine Corps as well.
Not necessarily rude, but very straightforward and very to the point. There was no sugary, nice language.
No niceties.
He was just none at all. He was straight up like, if I would have got a 99 on a test, he's like, cool, where's that 100? You could have done better. Why are you stupid? And I'm like, oh, great.
And then you're like, but dad, yeah. And then that's what the moms were for. They were like, honey, listen, yes. 99 is good. So there's owl brain versus wow brain, looking at the ouch instead of the wow, like rewarding yourself for the good. Reward yourself for that 99% instead of, and then, worry about the 1% later.
Well, I always, it's that parental guidance beat into you thing that I always think I can do better. Like, no matter how good I'm doing, I can do whatever it is better. I can learn it better. I can know more. And it's tough because I'm never done. Like, there's always the next thing, but I think it's actually important. Helped a lot. Like, it helps me keep moving forward no matter what I'm doing. I never have that rock bottom moment. Even after my dad died and it got bad, it was just like, okay, here's the next step. Here's how we move forward to make it not bad anymore. And that's more the thing he instilled in me from just his personality, just the
problem solving.
Yeah, it's never stopped.
I have the same.
Always next.
But that's why I am the way I am, is like I took this really hard and just like I never did small talk for a long time. I'm just like, I would literally tell someone, I'm so sorry, I really don't care how your day is. Like, I'm gonna go to like, it wasn't meant to be mean. I'm just like, I don't really care. Like, I'm glad you're well. But it's just like I took that and wherever, I don't know, my heart's giant apparently, and I took like those things just never mixed, and I finally found a way to kind of mesh them together, which is why I'm like, feel your feelings. And then but also in my head I'm like, okay, let's move this along.
it took me a while to get there too, because I used to have I had girlfriends at the time that their friends would be like, hey, do you want to see a picture of my dog? And I'd be like, no one wants to see a picture of your dog on your phone. Why are you bothering me? And they were like, wow, this guy's a dick. And I'm like, no, I just don't care about your dog at all.
Why is that so wrong? I don't want to see your dog. I don't care.
Honestly, when we first met Chris, one of the things I liked about him was the fact that I never had to guess like what his attitude or emotion was. He was just always the same. And like he would say these things like, yeah, your deck sucks, but here's how you can improve it. But he was a very honest person, and I highly value honesty over, like, don't blow smoke up my ass.
Yes.
Like I really want to know
Please
who you
don't.
are as a person. I don't want to get 4 months in and see the real you and be like, wow, I thought I was friends with an entirely different person. So show me the real you, because I will value that. I want to value who you are directly from the start.
Yeah, and that's hard too. When I was younger, that got me in trouble a lot because I felt the same way towards people, and I would take things at face value. Like, hey, if you tell me your name is Chris and your name's John, I have no reason to suspect that your name is John.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So it's just like,
Yeah.
When people kind of have a way of being that way when they first meet people, and sometimes it's just because they're shy. So I've learned to have patience with that as well. But for the most part, I'm just like, if I feel in any way like you're not showing me who you are, you're not telling me who you are in an honest way, I'm going to call you out on it first. Like I said, I'm the one that's going to be like, it seems like something's not right here. What's up, buddy? So it's like, or I'll be like, why are you being a jerk? Like I've said that to people who it's like, they have no reason to be being mean, but there's something else going on or something they don't. And then they'll, the truth comes out. Oh, well, my friend told me that you don't like cats or something. And it's just like,
oh, that's a deal breaker. You got to get out.
This is why we can't be friends. Like, well, you can't you can't just ask me if I like cats because I love cats, So it's just like people have these things in their heads that's not necessarily directed at you, but it comes out at you. So it is important not to take things at face value, but also to value that honesty and value that openness. And people are the same. Like when people have this way of asking me, are you mad at me because of the way I talk? And I'm just like, trust me. You will know if I'm mad at you.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no uncertainty when I'm upset with somebody because I will straight up say that I'm like, I'm not happy with you.
I heard Maya
Angelou. What did I do?
Yeah, exactly. I heard Maya Angelou speak once, and she said, she was talking about, however, when somebody shows you their true self, you need to believe them. It's like, don't start making excuses in your head because they're like 80% of the time this person. She was like, if somebody shows you their true self, believe them that that's who they are.
Have you seen, have you seen Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Okay, so Littlefinger, or for anybody who hasn't, but he says throughout the whole show, like, I'm an asshole. Sorry. I'm a butthead.
Please.
We are PG-13.
I'll just say that
we are rated M.
When we hit the explicit on the Apple podcast, we legitimately mean the explicit.
Okay, good. Because I've been doing so well. I haven't been swearing. I'm so proud of myself.
No,
because I'm a potty mouth. But so the whole show, he was just like, don't trust me, don't trust me, don't trust me. And literally he said that to everybody and was nice as pie. And I feel, this is a bad person to compare myself to, but I feel like him when I'm just like, when I meet a guy that I think is cute, that I know I'm not going to date, I'll just be like, being honest, dude, like, I'm just an e-girl, so don't try to like have feelings for me and shit. And I'll say that to them and like, oh, whatever, but you're so sweet and you're so cute, blah, blah, blah. And they'll just like have feelings. And then I'll leave one day and be like, I told you, so it's like, when someone tells you who they are, you have to listen, no matter how it doesn't, maybe it doesn't look or sound at the time what they're telling you. But when someone says something like, oh yeah, I murdered squirrels when I was a kid or something, that's not something that you're just like, oh, at least that's when you were a kid. Now you're cool or whatever. Like, that's going to raise some red flags. Yes. I want you to just be aware of that. And that's me. Like, I have this, I'm a boundary pusher. I am a pusher. I always say that, like in Mean Girls, I'm a pusher, Katie. I'm a pusher. But it's like, I will push people to their limits. I will push myself to my limits. So like, if I feel like they're red flags, I will collect them. And I will keep them in my handy dandy brain book. And then I'll be like, yep, that was weird. Okay. But you know what? I'm still gonna, okay. But it's like, there's a code, I guess. And there's a level to which you can kind of give people leeway. If someone says like they did something crappy when they were a kid, and at least give them time to also say like, oh, but I realized I was wrong and I mended my ways or whatever. Yeah. But that is still something to consider. It's just like, how could he, there's some things that I've heard other people have done to people, but I'm just like, I could never in my life do that to somebody or say those things or like be that certain way. So it is something, when people are like, oh yeah, well, okay, my ex that I live with now, one time I saw him spit out a car when we first started dating, completely ignored it, but it just like, it completely spoke to his character in so many ways, which is like, we were crossing the road and someone zoomed past instead of letting us cross. And he like spit at the car. And I was like, ew. Like, I'm so like, like I just, what kind of, I thought in my head, what kind of person is he? And I just kind of ignored it, but it was just like, that kept coming back to me. I'm just like, Liv, remember that one time you spit at that car and like acted like he was so much better? It was just that like, puh, and you like, I'm just like, oh, I don't think I like that because I'm not better than anyone. I'll be the first to say it. But I do know my value. There's a balance everywhere. There's a balance. So,
well, that's just something to check off in your head for later. Like when you have to tip the scales back and forth of like, he's good. And it's like, he's a real dickhead. So maybe, yeah, this is a thing.
Yeah. And that's what I'm going through right now too. Another breakup. I'm just like, this person was everything to me. And, you know, after 30 years of life, you do start to be able to kind of, you know, judge a character, not that I judge people, but, you know, judge people's actions or kind of, I'm a pattern seer. I see patterns. So that's how I'm able to solve people. I know that sounds very inhuman, but I solve people by watching.
As soon as you said you were a life path 4, I knew you were a pattern person. Like she's got her numerology chart. She knows exactly.
So it's just like once I start to see a trend, and I have also another saying that I live by. Geez, look at me. It's how you do one thing is how you do everything. So that's why it's a red flag in dating when you see someone who's like mean to a waiter or something. That speaks to their character, you know. How they're being to that person is gonna inevitably be how they're gonna be maybe towards you one day, you know, or you know, if people treat their family poorly or things like that.
I will never forget. I worked, my parents had a restaurant down here, and my first year of law school, they had just opened. So I had decided I was going to work as a hostess just to make a little bit of money. And I just remember like just this guy came in one day. It was super busy and we were trying to get stuff and I was very polite about it. And the guy turns to his daughter and says, you don't want to be like her. She's just going to work at a restaurant the rest of her life. And I just remember like the way he said it, and he was so rude about something else. I can't remember exactly, but I just remember that I just went to the back and I told my dad and I started crying. My dad was like, you don't listen to anybody and now, you know, I've grown up since then. I was very much more of a softie back then. Now I was just like, whatever, dickhead. I don't really give a shit what you think, but, but it's just like the way you treat people just the way you perceive them doesn't mean that that's who they are as a person. So yeah, they may be working as a waitress, but you don't know what's going on in their life. They may have kids that they have to have a third or second job for. They may have to, this may be something they're working through college or anything like that. It just,
where some people just enjoy that job.
Absolutely. Like, and some people make a
career down on that job.
Well, no. And that's the thing that I tell people all the time. The running joke in my family is that my dad's manager at his restaurant makes more money than me. So let's put that into perspective. It's not always just because he works at a restaurant, that's all he's ever going to do. Some of this is a career path for people. Like it's a great job for them. So just because that's the perception, you shouldn't treat people based on what your perception of them is, I guess is my point. Every time I think about that, I just feel so like I will never treat a server or anybody like that wrong because you just never know where they're coming from.
I usually turn that around on people too. And I'm just like, if they're mean to me, like, I don't know, man, I just work here. I got a life.
Yeah.
I don't have to be here for you. I'm not here for you.
Listen,
I'm here for me to make my money.
You see, there's nowhere to sit. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I'm not going to make a magic seat just appear in front of you.
Just take your sex trophies and go to McDonald's. Like
exactly.
Right. People would try to be mean to me when I worked in retail too. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to shop here anymore. And my response was the same every time. I'm sorry you feel that way. I get paid by the hour. So.
Yeah. You being here doesn't change my paycheck. So thank you.
Yeah. Sorry you feel that way. But yeah, I definitely feel that. But it's just like how you look at something, like there are patterns to things, and how you feel in certain situations, you're most likely going to feel again in a similar situation. So it's like when it comes to interacting with people or how you're talking to yourself, there's chances are you're going to be talking that way to other people as well. So it's like you're developing habits. How you do something is a habit you've developed for that specific thing. So it's like if you lazily brush your teeth every day, there's a good chance you're lazily like combing your hair and not tying your shoes all the way and you're gonna end up tripping on your face or something. It's just like you develop those good habits early on because you don't want that to transfer over into other areas of your life. And that's, if you're lazy with something like brushing your teeth, it could lead to something bigger about you, like being lazy in your relationship. If you don't want to feel out your own feelings on your own, you're not going to want to feel out your feelings when you're trying to make something work with somebody or something, So it's just like, I think it's really important to be aware of yourself in those situations of just like how you're responding to something is really important.
Liv, you really helped me today talking about that, because I can be incredibly hard on people, even like when playing Valorant. I can be like, oh my gosh, this, that, and the other. Why wouldn't you listen? Why wouldn't you do this? And you just, follow my lead. And I like listening to you talk. It's because I'm worse on myself in my head. Like I am incredibly hard on myself. And so I'm starting to think like you're absolutely correct. What I think to myself and how I think of myself and the shit I say to myself is by far worse than what comes out of my mouth to the people. So I'm sitting here thinking I got to be nicer to myself, because Becky would be like, you were a little toxic tonight. And I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, that was me being nice. Like,
yeah,
that was toxic. That was just advice.
But why weren't you on site when we pushed on site? That's all I want to know.
That's right. Why were you over on B where nobody was? And then you crouch walked the entire way. What's wrong with you?
There was only 20 seconds left on the clock. What were you doing?
I know. Like, why did you just stand? Why wouldn't you throw a blind? Oh, I'm getting triggered. Like,
you don't use your abilities. Okay, we can't be friends. No.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
No, I feel that. I was gonna say too. There, like Chris said, you always want to be better. And like I said, I learned to create a balance with that. So again, it goes back to like owl brain versus wow brain. It is so good to always want to be better, but you can't be too hard on yourself at the same time. So, and that does, like Angie said, that comes out in other ways. Or same with Becky when it's like.
Yeah. When you said owl brain versus wild brain, I'm like, I think I'm always owl brain. Like, sure, I completed this task, but this is what I could have done better. And maybe it's just the job I'm in has taught, like, it's just, it's a job. It's a good job. And, but I'm always pushing for that next promotion. Always
some habits.
Yes. And I have to think that way to get ahead, and thinking this way has gotten me ahead and will get me to where I want to be. But I need to figure out.
I think you can still get there. It's just that when you have those moments like, yes, this was good. Or like, in Valorant, yeah, we won the game, but they were so annoying the whole time. It's just like when you have those moments of, yes, this good thing happened, you have to interrupt your own thoughts or have someone maybe to do it for you. That's what I do for people. Touch is a really huge trigger for that. When like, Becky, if you hear Angie being like, oh, this really cool thing happened, but as soon as she says, but just like, tap her on the shoulder and be like, hey, this is you just stop her right there. Like, just interrupt that thought process and then reward yourself. Instead of but, just say, no, that was really good. Or this really cool thing happened. Yeah, that was really cool. And then, like I said, worry about the 1% later, the 99 versus 1%. Like, then, okay, so now what could I have done better in that situation after taking the time and really taking the time to reward yourself first? You have to celebrate your victories, or you're just that creates a really depressive state of mind.
I was about to say, we invited you to be on the podcast to interview, and you've turned into our therapist for today. And I really appreciate it.
Which is exactly the community Liv said she wanted to build. So going off of that, Liv, what are your goals? Where would you like to see your channel? Say, if we do an interview this time next year, where would you like to see your channel?
This time next year, definitely will be partnered. So that's the goal. And I know a lot of people are like, that should be your goal. But if you don't have goals, what are you doing? You're just floating around.
Right.
Have fun floating around. I'm going to go win. No, I'm just kidding. See, I'm kind of a jerk. Damn it. But I do want to, okay, so the biggest thing for me right now is my living situation is not ideal. I would like to be able to make a career out of this because I'm so sick of having to hear my parents constantly tell me how content creation is not a career and that I need to go work at a factory and then, proving all the peeps wrong or whatever. But also I just want to be freaking happy. I spent a lot of time being depressed, even while I was a streamer, and my streams were terrible. And I hated streaming for a long time because I was kind of forced into it. But then I decided to do it for myself. and realizing the impact that I can have. I want to have obviously a partnership with Twitch and like a career out of this, but I want to have a community where people know like, oh, LyvPls, oh, is that one girl that, like, you know how people say, like, is that the one girl that does ASMR, or is that one girl that's really goofy? You like Liza Koshy. I don't even know if I'm saying her name right, but it's like, if someone says that, I'm like, oh yeah, it's either like David Dobrik's girlfriend or that one goofy girl who's really nice. She's hilarious and she's so kind, right? I don't know her, but that's what I think about her. And I want to have a big enough community and like platform where people know, oh, hey, I think if I stop in here, even if it's just once in a while, I might get some value out of what she's saying, or she can help me through a day. I just want to have a community of people to do that with as well, because I can't do that all on my own. I love to do it on my own, obviously, because that's how I live. But I would love to have just like a bunch of people who, when they see something that's maybe not the greatest, or someone doing something not nice, they'll be like, hey, that's, and they'll know how to handle that situation. Like, oh, I don't know if maybe that person didn't appreciate what you did just there. And then, like have a conversation with them and turn their day around. Because it's just a way of brightening the world and spreading good in the world. And I want my channel to be like a bigger channel, just so that we're spreading more of that.
I think that's such a great idea, especially because of the toxicity you see in Twitch as it is. So you have to start from the ground up on how you want your community to be. So the fact that you're trying to make it a positive place to begin with is such a nice thing, because so many channels you go to, it's just absolute toxicity. And by the end of it, you're just in that brain space already. So I feel like
it's like you're probably already having a crappy day, and then you go to a crappy, like a toxic stream, and you're like, oh, whatever, the world
exactly
sucks. Cool.
So yeah, like just making the world a little bit better for the day for somebody random on the internet is such a rarity this day and age. So having that is such a great idea. I wish more people would do that, because I feel like you want to leave the world a little bit better than where it was to begin with. So
better than you found it. That's
exactly
one of my mottos. Yeah, leave it better than whatever you go, whatever you do, leave it better than you found it. But I think, and not only that, I think what might set me apart from other people is that, because I think a lot of people try to do that. They want to be the person that people come to. They want to give advice and they want to make people feel better. Like, you're going to rarely meet someone who's like, I don't give a fuck how people feel, and I hope they feel like shit when they leave me. Like, no one says that. And for the most part, a lot of people can't handle that. Like, I know that I was blessed with something, like I said, growing up the way I did, and just the mindset I do and the heart that I have. I think I have a combination of things that helps me handle things like that. But not only that is, like I said, what LYV stands for. So standing up for yourself. It's like being able to stand up for yourself and be loving. And then just like dealing with anxiety, because everyone deals with, I think it's something that everyone deals with. And I think I've found a lot of ways that I can help with that. And that's what I want to share. And then again, like I want to create a community of people who stand up for each other, stand up for themselves, and spread good vibes. And maybe that sounds like a lot, but
no,
basic,
I think it's great. I love it. I love positive in a world where I work, that everything is so negative, and you see the worst. This is what I tell people. I see the worst in people. I don't want to come home and see the worst in people. Like, my job already entails that. So having a community like that, where you feel like, okay, I've had a horrible day, I'm going to go to this streamer and hang out with them for a little bit just to make a better day for myself. That to me is such a huge thing.
Yeah, kind of like someone to center you or bring you down to earth a little bit. Not that you're not. The real world is our jobs, right? Like, oh, this is my job, I gotta go to work, but at the same time, there's a balance. Oh, shoot, there's something called Ikigai. I know that sounds silly, but I heard it on I heard it on a video recently, and I thought I wrote it down, but I forget. It's something that
some of the other podcast hosts were icky guys.
Yeah. Chris is like the third iteration of our podcast host, so yeah, we're just upgrading as we go.
They found one that showers.
Oh no, that sounds like a ride. But ikigai is a Japanese word. It's like Ikigai, ikigai.
Mhm.
It's like a harmony and a peace, and it's shoot, I forget where I wrote it down, but it's finding a balance between something you love, something you can get paid for, something the world needs, and then there's a fourth one. I forget what it is. I probably could Google it, but I'm lazy. But yeah, it's like finding ikigai is really important. Or, you know, the guy that gets memed on a lot with the Porsche in his garage, Ty Lopez.
Yes.
He talks about it too: health, wealth, love, and happiness. So it's like something that's good for you, makes you feel good, something you get paid for, and something the world needs, like adding value to the world. So I want to be a person who helps guide people to that, if that makes sense.
I think that's wonderful.
I want that for myself. Like, I know I'm not there. And that's the thing, is like, I spew all this quote unquote nonsense. I'm just saying that to be comedic. But I do believe all the things that I say, but I also know that I'm not perfect, and that some of the things I do say are not quite there yet. You know, some of it is do as I say, not as I do, because like, I'm only human and I'm not perfect, but I want to create, something where people can hold each other up in that.
Well, I was about to say, it's unrealistic to see you and be, if you're like, I'm in this perfect headspace and I'm going to tell you how to get to this part. It's not relatable. Like, for you to struggle as well and go through what you go through, and to still be like, here's what I want to bring to you all to help you while I help myself. That makes it much more relatable for people, in my opinion. Like, it's hard to perceive it if you're not relating to the person who's trying to do it as well.
Yeah. It's like, I started working out again recently. Like, I used to work out all the time, and people were like, oh, well, what are your workout routines? And I'm like, I don't have any. I just like being physical. But people would like look up to me for workout advice, and I'm like, that's weird. But I think it's because I've always been kind of like, I'm very thick. So like, a lot of women would be like, oh, what do you do in the gym? And recently I started watching videos. It's like watching a workout video of someone who's super fit. For some people, that is motivation. You're like, yeah, I'm going to look like that. But I had to start watching videos of people who were unfit doing their best. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do my best too. And that's a bigger motivation, you know, watching somebody, a real person, real people, real results, you know, like it is real though. For someone who, like me, I gained 30 pounds in my last relationship, being really depressed and had a lot of very, very, very dark times. And I would force myself to work out, but it was like my mental just wasn't there. So it didn't matter. And I didn't know what to watch. And now I'm at a point where it's like, I have my best friends, Angie and Wade. I don't know them. They live in Colorado or something. And they're just real people doing workouts. And that to me is everything. Cause it's like, you see how hard they're working, and they're not the most physically fit or where they want to be. And you're like, yeah, I'm not where I want to be, but they're trying their hardest. I want to try my hardest too. You know, so it's like taking advice from someone who has everything together is like, cool, can't relate, hope to get there someday.
Right.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never get there.
I watched the show
maybe
Hoarders
never.
to inspire myself. As soon as I
Oh,
hear the beep,
cringe.
I'm like, yeah. I watch it. I'm like, yeah, gotta go home and clean. Gonna start working out. How many cats
Hoarders
do I
reminds me of my
have? Let's do a
family.
cat check.
When I see houses like pack rats and like houses with hoarders, I smell them.
Yeah.
Because my family were kind of hoarders.
Yeah, I deal with that in
So-
my job sometimes, and it's fun.
Oh, I finally came up with a name for mine.
What is it?
It's Live and Learn.
What?
Live.
That's
I love
incredible. Well,
And I was like, it's an
actually,
advice thing.
Liv, this is
sort
a
of.
perfect time for you to tell us all of your branding. Give us hit us with all your social media and your
Oh.
channels and your brands.
For sure. I'm Liv, so I'm LyvPls, as I call myself. LyvPls. LyvPls on Twitch, on every social media except Snapchat. I used to be LivDM because that was my initials. So my Snapchat is liv.dm if anybody wants that. But I have a pretty big community or not big is not the word, but I have a Twitch community which transfers over into my Discord community, which is pretty active. Active is the word. And I am mostly active on Twitter, which is just Liv's thoughts, which are not decent. So I'm supposed to be launching my YouTube channel on the 15th. with all of my podcasts and some ASMR edits, but that's not going to happen because it's the 13th and I only have one video done. They're like 4-hour videos. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And there's so much dead air because it's a live stream podcast. So there's a lot. I am going to be behind, which is unfortunate for me because I'm kind of losing that trust factor with my audience, but it's whatever. I will be, my YouTube, my Discord, and my Twitch are going to be my biggest factors of focus. We call everything super hot because I think a lot of things are hot. Like I said, I'm really sexual. I'm sensual. So I call everything hot. And it's like, I will find something sexual that's not sexual. And then I just say it because why not live your best life? And that's, what was I talking about that brought that up?
Your branding.
Live and learn.
Oh yes, live and learn. So we have Taco About It Tuesdays and Flirty Fridays. We went through a whole. Yes, I eat tacos and then we talk about stuff. We've had how to grow your Twitch stream, talks on COVID, talks about video games, whatever, just like random discussions, podcast stuff. And then Flirty Friday is all dating advice. So Live and Learn is now the name of my podcast in general. I've just decided. So I spent all day making my logo yesterday, which I told Angie turned out like butts and not like the cute kind of butts. But so I thought it was really fitting because I give advice and my name is Liv. And I think it's simple and catchy, whatever. My community actually helped me come up with it, I think. I mean, I said it and they were like, yeah, I like that. So thank you so much.
Exactly what you want to do. So that's a fantastic thing, because if it was something like live today and die tomorrow, I would be really confused as to what your podcast was about.
I thought about like live once, think twice.
Oh, that's pretty good too. Very philosophical.
Yeah. I really like live and learn.
I do too, though. I like it's very simple and it's a very much more of a catchy thing.
It's like kicks on a lot of levels. Live and learn, and like live your life and learn, and then like you learn by living. Yeah.
So what is the
cool? Thank you.
What's the like most important thing you've learned from your like relationship podcast?
That people are people. So
took a podcast, huh?
So what I've learned from my own podcast is that everyone's on a different level, and that the advice isn't always going to apply. So I always try to let people know that like what works for me isn't always going to work for you. And I do try to generalize, but I realize I have to stop doing that. So when we pick a topic, like I got ghosted, I mean, and I said on the podcast, like I've never been ghosted, but here's what I know about ghosting. And so that's what I had someone on the podcast who talked about how they got ghosted. And then I asked them some questions and I said, I think this is why you got ghosted. So I give the e-girl opinion on people's relationship status. When they're like, I'm talking to this girl, but I don't know if she's interested. She's giving me mixed signals. Then I'll say like, give me the deets, man. Show me some messages if you really want to, and I'll tell you exactly what's going on. And then usually, I hate to say it, I just have this intuition when it comes to people like emotions and relationships. So I'm pretty spot on a lot of times when I find the patterns in people's interactions and tell them how they can deal with that. So what I've learned is that not everyone's going to take my advice, and that's okay. And that everyone has different ways of dealing with things, but that is something I guess I already knew. Like I said, I'm a relator, so I will relate to somebody where they are. And as far as like my YouTube branding, that's going to be a YouTube adaptation of the podcast. So like the weird thing is my podcasts are not the focus of my content, but the podcasts are what I want to use to bring people into my community.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, into my content.
That's so how you like, funnel them in.
The funnel, yes. So the YouTube is the YouTube videos are not necessarily just a podcast you can throw on, because it's going to be like, here's Liv troubleshooting for 5 minutes, and oh, hey, you're watching this video, cool. Also, oh, there's a podcast in here somewhere, so it's like, it's going to be more like, oh, a live stream that I should probably catch, especially like ASMRs. I do soft singing in ASMR, and I can't put that on YouTube if I want the videos to get monetized eventually because of the DMCA. So if they really want to see me singing live, they would have to come to the live stream, which is the whole point of having a YouTube. So I'm doing my best to fit everything in, and I'm falling a little behind right now, but I'm not bummed about it because I'm having a good time. I really am living my best life, even though, and that's what I always used to say when people are like, hey, how are you? I'm like, living La Vida. And that's what I always say. And they're like, I see what you did there. And I'm like, I'm just living. Yep. I always say that. How you going? I'm living. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to be where I am. And I think I'm going to be much further and do lots of cool stuff. And I'm happy to know all of you so that I can share that with you and I can keep up with what you are all doing and see all the cool stuff you're gonna be doing with your podcast. And I really love, I appreciate you being here to have bounce ideas off of as well. That's really means a lot to me. So thank you.
Well, we also really appreciate you just coming on and talking with us because, a lot of what we did the opposite. So we did podcasting and then started doing other content creation. So seeing it flipped now is such an interesting thing, especially because we're trying to do the same, like make videos and all that stuff. So seeing where you're coming from and trying to do it, it's so cool to see somebody just growing in general, because we're always like, we just don't have time. We can't do it, blah, blah, blah. But to see that you're just doing it, like, man, we can do it. I don't know why we just haven't. Like, I feel like we just aren't utilizing what we can to do it. If we just had some sort of example, and I'm like, oh, well, Liv is the perfect example of we can't do this.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like standing in your own way. It's just like when people say over and over, when you tell yourself, verbally hear yourself say, I just don't have time. I just don't have time. I just don't have time. Guess what? You don't have time. And the thing is, I mean, I really commended my last boyfriend for how his time management. I was inspired by that a lot because he did so much in a day that I was just like, damn, I could do stuff, and like, even though people look at me and like, oh, you're doing a lot, I could do so much more. But I also don't dwell on that because I would get depressed if I did. So there, there's a balance, and I'm happy that I could be any kind of inspiration. I love when people tell me stuff like that because that is what actually keeps me humble. And I know I say I'm not humble, but it is so rewarding, and not like in a selfish way, but like, hey, faith in humanity type of stuff, right? People doing things, and I want to be part of that. I want to be part of positive things. So, and I'm sure most people do, but some people just don't know how, and some people don't realize that they are just standing in their own way by telling themselves they can't or don't have time for something.
Well, thank you so much for just coming on with us. We really do appreciate it. You're more than welcome to anytime you ever want to come on and just shoot the shit with all of us. And if we ever have just some crazy topic and you want to join, you are more than welcome to join us as another host. We loved having you today.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah. Honestly, the first time I know we had kind of our scuffed podcast.
Our rehearsal. We had a rehearsal.
Yes. But honestly, if we would have recorded that would have been probably just a wonderful podcast as well. Because all of you are just so easy to talk to, and your heart really shows when you talk, and it's the honesty thing. It's just there's no bullshit and there's no confusion, and I really appreciate the people that you are. And, I know we're just all saying thank you a bunch, but it is like, hell yeah, good vibes. I'm so happy that I got to be a part of this. When Angie first asked me to come on, I didn't know what to expect. And this is my first time ever being on a guest on a podcast. So.
Well, you are more than welcome to come back anytime. I can promise you that these positive vibes is probably more of the exception than the norm for it. But no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Usually we talk about conspiracy theories and stuff
I'm happy to talk about anything. Like, I am an open book, and I'm not gonna be embarrassed about anything I say.
So on a serious topic, Liv, something we'd wanted to discuss with you and bring like a spotlight on, because we hear a lot about how especially female Twitch streamers are very harassed and to the point of stalking, and you yourself have experienced this. Being a mod in your chat, I remember the first time I saw it happen, I was so shell-shocked at seeing this, because it was beyond any limit that could even be deemed acceptable. Like, it's criminal.
Mm-hmm.
And is there would you like to tell us as much as you feel comfortable with, but I'd really like to get our listeners out there just to be aware and maybe even help us in pointing this out to Twitch that this is a real problem.
So the thing is, I don't know too much about anyone else's experience. I don't know how different mine is than anyone else's. I definitely right now I have kind of a couple different harassers, I will call them. I don't like using the word stalker, but that is what they do. They watch everything you do. They're connected to all of your social media and I don't know, they're building this parasocial relationship with you. I have one person who thinks they're a part of my life and that I care about them, and I don't know them. They told me I was like a sister to them, and now they want to harm me, and went so far as to show me pictures of what they're going to harm me with, and what they're going to do to my body and all this stuff. So I know, sorry, I know I'm like smiling as I'm saying this. I'm just laughing because I just can't believe that people think
That's
I can't
okay.
believe that people think that's okay, and that like that anyone's going to take them seriously. And that's the thing, is like, I know this person is serious because they came to the city that I was living in to look for me, which is like, that's wild, right? That's heckin' wild. But I mean, like, just like the person that I am, I'm just like, okay, that's cool. But I mean, police do exist. The thing that bothers me is that the police cannot do anything. I have loads and loads and loads of information on this person, and the police can't do anything unless this person actively tries to hurt me. So it's like, okay, I'm just waiting until they finally find me and try to do something, and hopefully it's not too detrimental that, I could still report them and get them put away or whatever. But it's like, that to me is wild. I've reported this person on hundreds of accounts now, hundreds. And honestly, like, the thing that bothers me the most is that I don't fucking have time. I don't have time, dude. Like, I don't have time to be taking screenshots of everything, sending them to the police. And like, you just listened to everything that I said. I got shit to do, bro. I don't care what you're doing in a day. I don't care that you don't like me. And like, I know I'm supposed to care because they're so serious, but dude, I don't know you, So it's just like, I have another person who's been stalking my channel because I was hanging out with her ex-boyfriend. And she was like, she had added me on Snapchat and was like talking to me as if she was someone I knew. And I thought she was, because the name that she was listed under is there's a prefix that I use for my coworkers. So I thought it was someone I knew. And I was just like chatting to this person. And then like, she doxed her ex in my Discord, and all this crazy drama happened over the weekend. And then she sent me a message like, oh, get rid of bitches that be hanging out with my man or whatever. I'm just like, what the fuck? This person. So like, yeah, she watches all my streams, and I only know this because I had to ban her from Twitch because I was like, nope, not with the drama. This is my place of business. But her ex has been telling me like all the shit she's saying about me, about what I'm supposedly saying about her. I'm like, lady, I don't know ya. I don't care. Well, and I think
it just seems like, what I was just going to say is like, this is your business. It's not like, this is like what they're perceiving is happening. It's like, dude, this is like my life, and I'm trying to work and make money, and whatever problems you're having, I don't know what's going on with you, but calm the hell down.
Calm down. Sit down. Yeah. But I think that's really important to remember, is that those people are going to do what they're doing. The thing is, they are so mentally unstable.
Yes.
And you cannot give them, you cannot feed that. It's like feeding a stray cat, interacting with them, bad idea. Don't do it. At this point, I'm like, law enforcement can't help me until they can help me. Twitch lets you create multiple accounts under the same email. So this person has, I shit you not, literal hundreds, if not inching to the thousands at this point, of accounts they've made on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, in my Discord. Bruh, you got like way too much time on your hands.
On Twitch. Like, we're always watching for those accounts to pop up.
Yeah, multiple a day on 7 different platforms. Instagram too. Like, bruh. I'm floored that they don't have. Yeah.
Like, don't they have a job? Don't you have something else to be doing?
Well, no, he doesn't have a job because he's a felon. He can't get a job. So I'm like, okay, just get him picked up. Just go somewhere you'll be useful. There's some people there and some bars, and meals 3 times a day. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be warm.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing is just to for me personally, and it's the same with like when trolls come to your channel. People get trolled a lot on Twitch. People love to troll. I don't know why that's their favorite pastime. I always tell people, like, when the trolls come, I'm like, our troll shields are at 69% capacity every time. They're always at 69% because I will be lenient if I feel like it's not malicious. It's obviously malicious when they're doing like hate speech and derogatory terms and shit. But when it's like, I don't know. If someone calls me Lizzo, for some reason, it's different than when somebody calls me Missy Elliott. The person who calls me Lizzo, I'm like, get bent, and I ban them. The person who calls me Missy Elliott, I say, expand. What do you mean by this? What do you need here? And like that person still is a troll. So I don't give them as much attention. I build rapport with them. And then I'm like, all right, go do your thing. If you're going to keep trolling in here after I've already been nice to you, you're not going to like being here. And they stop coming around. So the biggest thing with the stalkers is just that like, you can't give them the attention they want. And like, I don't feel bad. I know that might feel bad for some people, especially if it's someone you know, but like a lot of times it's not people you know. It's people who have developed this relationship with you in their mind alone. So it's like, I'm sorry, but I don't condone the behavior. So I'm not going to give any kind of life to that. If you want to come to my stream saying wild shit, like you're going to get banned and I'm probably not even going to mention it. That's like when Angie first saw, the messages that the person was sending, it was at a time where we had just decided to completely ignore this person because they were creating multiple accounts a day. And I'm like, I'm sick of having to stop what I'm doing to screenshot all of these accounts because I'm not going to do it after stream after I've had, like 50 follows and I got to sift through and be like, was this the one? So it's like, I stop what I'm doing, take out my phone or do a screenshot. And it's like, I'm sure this person loves that they're affecting me this way, that I have to do something when they come around. But at the end of the day, you're just a pain in my fucking ass. And
Right.
like anything that's a pain in my ass, I'm going to forget about it because I don't hold on to that shit. So you're at the end of the day, you're still just nothing to me. And yeah, that sounds bad because like they have some strong feelings about or for me or whatever. But it's just like, I'm working. I don't come to your work and try to, I don't know, do stuff to you, whatever. Like that's not acceptable. It's like a guy like showing a dick pic in the middle of a conversation that wasn't asked for. It's like walking up to somebody in the street and being like, here's my peener.
Right.
No, there are things that are just not socially acceptable and not morally acceptable. Like, get your shit together. I don't have time, but I don't give it time.
Well, I think people don't realize that you putting yourself out there as a streamer does not mean that you are their plaything. Like, this is entertainment that you can be entertained for a few hours watching you. And then at the end of the day, go on with your life. Like, you should not be the center of attention for these people, which I get, they have mental health issues, but at some point, you have to realize that this is going to consume your life. And it's such a disconcerting feeling, especially because I feel like a lot of this happens more so to women than men, but it's unfortunate because it's like, you're just trying to provide entertainment for people at basic for your job. It's not like you are trying to attract this attention just because these people exist out there. It's such a sad thing to see.
Yeah. And that's what I talked about earlier, like just kind of demystifying the whole like Twitch persona. Like, yes, I do have a personality that is more for Twitch. Like if I'm sitting here gaming without my cam or mic on, I'm just going to be saying like, I'm still communicating in game and I'm going to be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But like, I'm not probably making any facial expressions and I'm just like really focusing. When I'm streaming, obviously, like I'm trying to pay attention to chat or I'm making sure that my audio and video quality are good. Like there's a million other things on my mind that are already taking me away from reality in a way where it's like, if someone is, we talked about this a lot too on my first dating podcast of the new year was parasocial relationships. Even though the person that you're watching doesn't know it, you are developing a relationship with them. Like someone whose videos you watch on YouTube. Or it's the same way, like you see someone go live and you're like, I love that guy. Like, you don't know that guy. You don't know what he had for breakfast. You don't know what kind of shoes he wears. You don't know how many family members he has. Maybe you do, whatever. But it's just like, yes, you love that guy for who they are, of who they're showing you. And, and like I think I've mentioned to Angie before, I try to be as real as possible and as honest and open as possible. But there's a huge difference between me saying like, I haven't had the greatest day versus like my ex did something really psycho to me in my sleep and I'm feeling some type of way about it. You know, like I don't have to say all of that on stream. I'm just gonna be like, I had a weird day today. Let's party, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Because that's fortunately for me, going to my job is also a party, which is not something everybody can say, but it is exhausting for an introvert. I will tell you. And I tell that to people all the time. Like, I don't always enjoy chatting to everybody constantly, especially off stream. Like, I've been more active in my Discord because I'm having fun, but at the same time, I don't do anything I don't want to do. So if I'm talking to someone in stream and they start to annoy me, I will say that to them. Like, you're being kind of annoying.
Right.
Because it's like in my stream, you don't have to be there. You don't have to watch me. Like, the people who stalk, like, you have an obsession with a person. They do not have that same obsession with you. And I think, like, if they could somehow realize that, maybe it would make things different. But, like, he knows, the person who's stalking me, like, knew me personally through Facebook. I had the max amount of friends on Facebook before I deleted it because I added everybody. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And it was like literally 5,000 is the max. And the max amount and people would DM me, oh, you're so pretty. Oh, you're so cool. Oh, I love your photos. Thank you. And I'd move on. After I say thank you, I don't think twice about that message and I forget that I ever had it. So it's the same with people who are like watching you on your social media and on your streams. I love all of those people and I've developed personal friendships with those people through messaging, but very rarely through the stream do I develop any kind of real personal relationship, you know?
Right.
Because it's so hard to have that. Well, I don't know. That sounds wrong, but it's like you
No,
can't
it
only
doesn't.
get so close to people,
Right. It's
through
on
a live stream. And it's like the person who is stalking me right now, they think everything I say is about them. Like, I posted something on Twitter about my ex and one of my Uwu boys, and I was just like saying how like everyone's being mean to me and expecting me to like keep talking to them. And then he messaged me and was like, "Oh, if you're being a dick to me," and I'm like,
What?
"Oh, that's nothing." So I was like, the tweet said, "Here's a tip. If you want someone to like you, maybe don't be a dick to them." And then he messaged me saying, "Well, you're a dick to me." And I'm like, can you read? Also, what the fuck? Not even about you. Nothing I do in a day is about you unless it's, hey, police, here's some stuff from a weird person. And then I go about my day. Even then, I'm like, okay, good. Check it off my to-do list. That's literally a permanent spot on my to-do list. Send stalker shit to the police every day.
Well,
and like, it's sad that I have to do that. It's pathetic.
And it's sad because it's like everything, there's nothing you can do that somehow it won't be misconstrued to something for him as you are the center of attention. So it could be that you decided you wanted to eat barbecue chips for lunch and it's like, you clearly hate me. And obviously you don't know what you need. You need salt and vinegar chips, blah, blah, blah. Like,
well, he is like
weird.
That. I can't believe you're eating a pepperoni pizza. They'll be like, ooh, my favorite Pizza Hut. You know, pork has tapeworms in it. You're going to hell for eating pork. I can't believe you would do this to me. Eat pork in front of me. What the fuck? I can't make this shit up. Oh my God. But I'm like, no, I'm still gonna really enjoy this pizza. Sorry about it. And that's the thing, is like, I live so unapologetically that I know everything I say is gonna rub these people the wrong way, and it's just gonna make them more mad. But it's not gonna stop me from being me. Like, you can't. Fuck them.
Yeah.
As my dad would say, piss on them.
Yep, doesn't matter.
Move on. And that, you know what, I'm glad you brought awareness to this because, you know, we hear about it all the time about the stuff that happens with women who are in the public eye, and anything to that extent. But I think people just don't realize the extent of what people have to, or what some people have to deal with, to the fact that you have to stop your day to send a screenshot to the police of like, hey, here's another day where he's threatening to kill me. Just want to give you a heads up. This is what's going on.
And not only that, but the fact that there's nothing they can do about it until he attempts to do so. That's the scary part to me. And then we want our community, our Twitch community, to be better, but Twitch reaches out and says, there's nothing we can do until he does something. Because like you said, they can ban an account. He's just going to make 100 more in a day. And
that just to me, like, I know there was talk of IP bans for Twitch. I I don't know like how real that is, but the person who's harassing me, I don't think has a computer. They just do mobile, and they're constantly like walking around the city and stuff. So it's like there's no IP.
Yeah.
There's no one IP address for that. So it's like I didn't luck out in that sense. But it's just like I know that I could have done things differently. Let's be honest. I could have done different things for things not to maybe get where they are now, but there's just no way I could have known that. I interacted with this person the same way I interact with every other person. There was nothing special about them. And if they thought there was, and I like shattered that for them, they got mad maybe, but it's just like.
So here's the thing, even then it's not your fault, regardless
Right.
of whether you did anything you feel right or wrong. You didn't do dick. This is a him problem, not a you problem.
Right. Even if you had sent him the lewdest pictures imaginable, it still doesn't give him the right to act the way he is. I don't.
Oh, that's very true.
Yeah.
And that's like well, go ahead. I was
just saying, I did have conversations with him very early on, and it was like maybe a few sentences here and there. It wasn't anything crazy, but it's just like, he's like, oh, blah, 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 I'm sad. And me being a mama bird, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry you're sad, hon. Like, it's okay. Things will get better. And don't worry. I'm like, and then, I commiserated with him a little bit, just like, oh yeah, I did. This guy's a total tool. I feel you, man. Shit's weird. People suck sometimes. Like, that's how I talk to anybody. And that's how I spoke to him. And all of a sudden I was like a sister to him. But then he wants to marry me and kill me. I don't know anything. Mm-hmm. That's some instability. That's all I can gather. And at the end of the day, like I can't put that on myself. I refuse to.
None of that's your fault at all. It's him.
I mean, it's just like, it's like the whole Twitch thing, I think got really out of control because I handled it poorly. Maybe.
Well, and I think it's hindsight though. Hindsight is always going to be 2020. Like you think you're to yourself, I could have done something better. Or I could have done something different, but inevitably this isn't like a choose your own adventure where the outcome's going to be different. Probably whatever you would have done, it would have ended up the same.
The only thing that could have stopped this, because I ended up deleting my Facebook. I deleted my Instagram, my Facebook, and then something else because he like would not stop. Well, it wasn't for him, but I wasn't using them anyway. So I was like, whatever, I'm over it. But if I would have the only thing that could have stopped what's happening now is if I had deleted my Facebook before I became a streamer. Because what's happening now started because he started coming to my streams and he realized that he could talk to me.
Yeah, but it's still not like your fault. That's still a him thing. That's
it is, but I'm still the one who has to deal with it. You know what I mean? It's like,
but again, he's making you deal with it because he's a piece of shit. Like that's nothing.
Really, inevitably, the only thing that could be done at this point, and you just got to let it go, is A, once he gets caught, or B, Twitch just completely disappears. That's about the only other extent to it. I mean, until you
I mean, that's just sad. Like the fact that those are the options. And as a person who's dealing with this regularly, that sucks. So if anybody else out there has to deal with that, the only thing I can say is literally live your fucking life. Do you? And it's not as simple as fuck the haters, but it's definitely along the lines of
fuck the haters.
There's nothing. Fuck the haters.
Well, you can't
people are hating on me.
Well, his whole thing is probably trying to keep you living in fear of what's going to happen. He
always does that. Ooh, are you scared?
It's like,
dude, I'm shaking in my booties. They're super
like,
cute.
You can't live with this overarching shadow that something is going to happen one day. Or
the thing is, people do though.
And
I know there's women who feel that way, who've dealt with that. Like they do. They're like, oh, I hope you're scared. He said to me once, joke's on you. You don't know how I look. You don't know what I look like. So I have the element of surprise. And I'm like, you're really starting to get rid of that by telling me everything you're doing and showing me pictures of where you are. But totally. I'm freaking scared. But that's my personality. I feel like if anyone was going to deal with a stalker, I'm okay with it. I would rather it be me than somebody else, you know? Right. But at the same time, there are women like, okay, I think you guys are the ones who tell me about Sweet Anita, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So it's just like people like that who it's just like obviously the freaking sweetest people in the world who have things going on and actually physically being attacked. Like, of course you're going to be living in fear, with this like constantly hanging over your head. And that's what this person is trying to do to me. It's not working for me because like I just couldn't give fucks if they could fly or whatever I'm saying. Like, but I know that it's really hard to deal with, and that's why I don't know that I'm necessarily an example, but that's why I am on the platform like that's why I'm on Twitch, and that's why I have this whole like life purpose that I have, is so that you don't is to be able to connect with someone in a way to help them make realize they don't have to feel that way.
Yeah,
that it's going to be okay.
I think that's a great
like, all
thing.
you can do is your best.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing, because I think people are always so scared that this is a unique circumstance to them when it's not. And just having somebody that's like, hey, it's happening to me, really sucks. You got to live your life, whatever you got to do for it. That's all you can do.
And most people will say like, oh, I had no idea. Why would you?
You're right.
You think I'm going to sit and talk about it for hours? I have this stalker threatening me. And I mean, I don't know. I've just never been scared of him, and that's on me. But I know I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of someone who's like genuinely afraid for their lives. Like, oh, my ex who I live with, he is like, he has nightmares about it.
Yeah.
About this person. And I'm just like, that sucks. I can't imagine feeling that way, because I mean, we have cameras at literally every single entrance in our house. And I mean, like, in that regard, I'm just like, at least there'll be like evidence of if anything does happen.
That's just precautionary,
for me,
though. Like, that's just
it is. But what makes me feel not safe necessarily, but what makes me feel at ease, I guess, or at peace with it, is that I'm doing every single thing I could possibly be doing. In my personal opinion, besides my interactions with him, maybe I don't interact with him at all. I haven't spoken directly to this person in over a year, and they still talk to me as if I'm having chats with them.
Yeah, it's crazy. The word is crazy.
He's crazy. And like anything I say on stream, he'll be like, "Oh, I heard you say this on stream. I bet that was about me," or whatever. Like, no, it definitely was not. I can guarantee you anything I say has literally nothing to do with you. But does that matter? No. And I want to tell them that, but then they'll just go off.
They'll use it. Yeah.
That. Yeah. And they'll just run with that and start a fire for another year. So it's like, you can't interact with them at all. And the reason why I feel like I'm at peace is because, like, as soon as I see the messages, okay, screenshot, record, send it to police, delete, block, report, move on. Like, it's a lot to do. And it takes time out of my day, which annoys me. So it's like, if their only goal is to annoy me, fucking mission accomplished, bro. Brava.
That was the secret the entire time, just wanting to annoy you.
Also, it doesn't take much to annoy me, so fucking get in line, pal.
Same.
But yeah, it's weird because I have such an abrasive personality, but I'm also so loving. And I think that's why this person has a weird obsession with me and like is confused by me, because they just want me to give them attention. I said it last week on my podcast. I was like, if my I don't know if you watch Star Wars, but if my love were midichlorian, I'd be like Anakin Skywalker with like the highest midichlorian count. Like I called it the love force, because like when I give someone attention, I do mean it, and I try to personalize it because I just am like want to be genuine. But it's like, if I stop giving that attention to someone, then like they kind of become obsessed with me, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've had a lot of people obsessed with me, even like, and it's like platonically too, not just romantically. Like I mentioned before, I had a friend in high school who literally tried to be me. I caught her doing it one time. Like when I wasn't around, she was, cause it's like not her personality at all. When I wasn't around, I was like coming around the corner. She was like saying all the stuff that I say and like trying to talk the way that I was talking and interact with people the way that I do. Like she just wanted the attention that I get. And like, the thing is, I don't like attention, and any attention I do get, I'm thankful for, but usually I'm a dick about, because I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, I don't care.
I know.
And then people will leave you alone.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks. I know I rock. Bye. But it's just like, I am very introverted, and I value my mental health, and exuding that much energy constantly. I don't know if that was the right word, but that's a lot for me. And I have to be aware of that. So sometimes I call it expiring. Like when I used to go out with my ex, like we'd go grocery shopping, I'd be like, I'm expiring. Like the world is taking a toll on me. Or it's like, I was walking through the mall and I was like, there's too many unknown variables.
Like I said, everywhere. The COVID has really helped you out. Like there's literally no excuse to be around any. You have the perfect excuse to never be around people ever again if you don't want to.
Yeah, like, oh, I would totally come over, but the vid.
Yeah, the pandemics really suck right now.
Yeah. Oh my God. You have no idea how many people on Twitch live where I live and have been in my DMs like, let me come through one time. Like, oh, you should come over. I'm like, the vid.
Yeah, it's a thing.
But also, no. It's so much easier to let people down during COVID. No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, hey,
No, dude.
I have said this has been probably the best time to be an introvert, and I can work from home. I don't have to wear work pants. I love it. Like, it's been fantastic.
Yes, I'm not even wearing pants right now.
Exactly. Like, it's fantastic. So, I mean, as much as I absolutely hate that we're in the middle of a pandemic and people are suffering, for an introvert, it's great. Got a lot of Minecraft.
And that's the thing too, is like, I do know that it's like been hard on people, and I'm not making light of that by any means. I know that it's been very difficult for a lot of people. And that's why I'm fortunate to have the personality and the platform that I have, because I say it every ASMR, and I whisper it into the ears, and I say, listen, I know things suck. I know shit's weird, but I'm here. You're here. We're here together. And guess what? We're just relaxing, because sometimes it's all you need. Take 5, just deep breath. And so like, I know for a fact that I'm happy. And like I said, I'm living my best life as best as it can be right now, even with all the weird stuff that happens in it. But I know that it's also very, very, very stressful for a lot of people. So I don't want to make light of that at all. But yeah.
Well, like I said, I really do appreciate you coming on with us and just kind of talking. And, I know it was like, here's some real cool interview questions, but I feel like it's just much more organic to be able to talk to you about things that are going on from behind the scenes and real life. And I feel like people can relate to that so much more than just being like, so where are you from? What's your favorite color? Yeah, exactly.
My favorite color is rainbow, if anyone was curious.
I mean, really, I love that, because it's just like, every color is pretty cool.
The right answer is
but
green,
all of them
people.
together.
Okay.
So growing up, everything I have is green. Bright green is like if I have to choose, it's green. I'm pink and blue are my branding. Green is my favorite, but rainbow is real, y'all. Just put them all together and live in harmony. Freaking love rainbow. I love it. My hair is rainbow, actually. I love all colors together. Not every color separately, but I love them all together. I think rainbow is harmony, right? Like, well, yeah. I love harmony, and I love things just being in sync with each other. And I love that's why when people would call the US a melting pot, and like, I'm a melting pot. I have like 8 different ethnicities in me. And I'm just like, I love that. I love that all these separate things can come together and make something beautiful. And that's why my favorite color is rainbow, is because every color is beautiful and they're most beautiful together.
I just love that you have basically the perfect explanation for, like, my favorite color is purple, just because I think it makes pretty color. Like,
color good, nice.
Color very nice, pretty on me, like skin tone on like that, nice. But yeah, I was like, well, damn, I really do need to contemplate deeper, like, other than, never mind. Well, anyway.
So you don't have to. Purple was I had purple as a favorite for a while. I was kind of moving away from green, because like I said, everything I owned was green, and I just always looked like a toddler. So I was like, maybe I should move for something a more mature color, because there's just this bright, not neon,
just going for
bright.
The leprechaun.
Yeah, purple was mature pink, in my opinion. It was a mature. Yeah, it was like a more mature color. Purple's beautiful. Oh, I mean, all the colors are pretty. And that explanation that I just gave you, like, literally, I never said that to anybody before. But I was just like, why is rainbow my favorite color? This must be why. Yes, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. I know, Chris, I'm sorry, Bobby, somehow his router decided that it was going to retire.
R.I.P. Bobby. Can we get a moment of silence for Bobby?
Yes.
Bobby and his pompadour. And
hopefully he put something up his butt.
I was about to say, the only reason why this wasn't as explicit as it normally is Bobby wasn't here to talk about putting something up his butt. So
damn, I will definitely be back, because I'm sad I missed that.
Yes, you definitely need to talk with Bobby. Plus,
hi.
Liv, this is my wife.
Pretty. Oh, hi,
Casey.
Okay, that's enough.
Oh, she's so pretty.
Yeah.
She's adorable. Goodness. And she's cosplayer, Liv.
Love that. I've always wanted to be, but never have. I'll get into it one day.
I wondered if you would ever do cosplay streams.
It's just expensive. Like, all the makeup, all the clothing.
Yes.
Chris knows.
Yes, it is.
One piece for a 6-piece costume, $300. I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna wait on that.
I get the chat where she's like, "Hey, I need to buy some EVA foam or Eva foam." I'm like, "Cool. How much do you need?" She's like, "I don't know, like $300." I'm like, "For foam?"
Why did it $300?
Look,
And that's
Chris,
the thing
that
too.
foam, you have to have it correct.
No, I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's just it's
There's
hard
a
to
lot of
justify it to
DIY
me.
stuff too. So cosplaying
Yes.
is very time consuming.
Yeah, well, she makes everything from scratch, like
That's
sews and
amazing. That's
foam.
talent.
It's a lot of work and a lot of time and a ton of money.
Yeah.
But she loves it. So Godspeed.
Godspeed to you.
It's not for me.
Yeah, bless her heart. No, I like it. I like it a lot. I'll have to get when I actually do start doing it, maybe I'll have to get some pointers from her.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's gonna start she wants to start a because she streams, like she just started streaming like Genshin Impact and she's some other games she just streams on Twitch, but she wants to do like her cosplay on there, like show like tutorial
Yeah.
videos and building and stuff like that. And I'm like, cool, have
Oh
fun.
yeah, people
We'll
would
set
love
it up.
that.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, I don't care.
Awesome.
Okay.
Hell yeah, Casey, let's go. Love to hear it.
Liv, thank you so much for joining us. And I really hope you'll come back again at a later time, especially when we do the cosplay stream. Maybe you come on and do that with
Heck
us.
yeah. Ooh, that'd be so fun. Thank you so much for
Mhm.
having me. This has been such a blast.
I had a
Sorry
great
if I
time.
babbled. Sorry people think I'm weird.
No, absolutely. You know what? Honestly,
Actually, I'm not
everybody's-
sorry though.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say everybody's kind of sick of hearing us talk anyway, so it's nice to have a fresh perspective.
Oh man.
Listen, there's only so many episodes we can do about Marilyn Manson, Charles Manson being part of the CIA government experiment, and then people are like, "You guys are freaking crazy! Can you guys shut the fuck up for 5 seconds?"
It'd be
No
nice to
way.
get emails other than, redacted FBI files, and you guys should look into this.
That though. Oh man, so I'm really different.
Yes.
I'm different. Yeah, I'm not built different. No, I'm just kidding. No, I
No,
mean,
it's great.
I just love that. Even last week when we had our chat, like it was same vibes, same good vibes, and
Mhm.
I definitely want to check out more of your other podcasts and see what cool stuff.
Yeah, some
Maybe
of
I'll
them,
get to know my Orby friend here with me.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. When you
yes.
actually have to do paranormal research and stuff like that, or paranormal podcasts, we are your people. We promise. Like,
Yeah, I actually would love to know more about it.
Absolutely. We could get Mondo in a talk and get him started
love
on
that.
some equipment he would need. And I really do want to share the EVPs we've called. I know you told me once you were terrified of them, but I'll just sit them to you and be like, just listen to this. It's nothing serious. And
just
then
a
you'll
ghost
open
telling
it
us to
up
go away.
and you'll hear a ghost like, get them out of here. Like, yeah, nothing scary. Yeah.
I know I've never done any paranormal stuff. And that for me is because I'm very very, very empathetic and like I am an empath. So when I feel
Okay,
something, I'm just like especially if it's like
Hi.
hi.
My case-
Especially if it's any kind of like negative energy or unwelcomed energy.
Mhm.
I'm just like I
Yeah.
get very I don't know. So I do know that I knew that spirits lived here because some experiences that I had. I don't know anything about it. But there's something wrong with the person that I live with. Like there's a spirit wrong there. Like
Mhm.
and I know it because he brings it down here whenever he comes down.
Yeah.
So so like I feel a lot of stuff and I would love to learn more about it. But I get freaked out just because it's so real,
Right.
Mhm.
So, and I just don't want to like,
Oh, don't get.
I'm already pissing off humans. What I gotta start going.
Well, I was about to
pissing
say,
off
don't get
ghosts
me
too.
wrong. We may sound like we know what we're doing, but we are the ones who will literally 35 minutes and be like, we got to get the fuck out of here because there's noise happening and
No,
I don't like
I will
this.
say this. I'm always like, we got to go. And everybody's like, no, let's stay run away.
I want to stay.
But let me tell you, we were live streaming at a cemetery and we caught on camera this freaking ghost standing beside a gravestone. Now, the person I was walking with ran away and left me, and I'm carrying the backpack and all the equipment. And it was raining,
no.
and I'm like looking where that we had just seen the bullshit, and I was like, well, I'm dead for sure. I mean, of course I wasn't, or I'm a ghost now. I don't know. I maybe died. I swear I'm
are
live. I'm
those?
not a cat. But yeah, so that's generally us. We have brought some stuff home that we haven't learned how to protect ourselves. Chris's wife does a good job of helping us in that regard. But yeah, so we've stopped because last time I brought some bullshit home. And
Oops.
yeah. So you do have to deal with that. It's like the more you know about it and it knows it definitely interacts with you more. So I can
Okay.
understand the willful ignorance of, not wanting to acknowledge those things, because you do give them
Yeah.
power when in the acknowledgement of them.
Yeah.
Well,
Now that I've
Wait,
given
I
us
have
all
like
night
so
notes
many
for the
chills
night.
talking about this right now. My whole body is tingling
Yeah.
right now.
Well, if you ever want to find any more about us, hey guys, you can find us on Facebook at the Free Rotation Podcast. You can find us on Twitch at the Free Rotation. We are also on YouTube at the Free Rotation. Oh my God, I totally blanked out. What is our stuff?
Witty Geeks.
Spotify.
Spotify.
iTunes.
I don't know why I
iTunes.
yelled
You-
that so loudly.
You can check.
No, we all yell it at her at the end.
You actually did
Every
exactly what
episode.
they do every time to me. You can
Yeah.
find us, check us out on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. We're affiliates of WeBe.
Anywhere you can find podcasts.
Oh my God,
Oh, I'm
Angie.
gonna do it on Spotify. That's where I listen to mine.
If there are,
Spotify. We are Spotify as well.
if someone has a
Mm.
podcast, they'll have us.
WeBeGeeksPC.com,
Yes.
TheFreeRotation.com. Done.
And please be
did
sure
it.
to check out LyvPls on Twitch. And from Twitch, you can go to all of her other social media platforms. And the stream schedule is there. So
And Live
please
Please
check
is
it.
LyvPls. Do not spell it all the way out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't be those people.
LyvPls.
LyvPls.
Well, if you type in live on Twitch, I'm pretty sure I'm the first one that comes up anyhow.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. Have a great time. I'm gonna
All right, bye. We
love
love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye, people.
bye.
Go.
Bye.
Free rotation.